There are a lot of people in Chicago that do it.
That's interesting.
It's weird. Yeah.
Be on your Adam's apple, and it can get a cool.
Yeah. So and right now we're not picking up anything you're saying. So
It's
it
just
kind of just
us-
looks like we're talking
just
into a
us
void.
responding.
So if you could, if you're gonna talk, if you could just like sit right there, or, like lie down on the couch,
Yeah.
and then we could just put the mic.
All right.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm like normally really good at starting these, and right now, I feel like there's a lot of pressure because there's a black guy watching me.
Yeah.
So
We
even though
usually-
that's kind of my demo.
Yeah. We usually sing
Yeah.
Cotton Eye Joe to begin the podcast.
Whoa, careful, dude. No, that was good. Yeah, this is a live podcast.
Yeah.
Getting heckled by an African.
How do you usually start them? What's the go-to?
Banter.
Let's get 30 minutes of scheduled banter.
Yeah.
And then we get into some
And then I'll be like,
rhetorical questions.
and then I'll be like, I'll delete this. Don't worry. And then they're like, oh, okay.
good.
And then I
all right.
don't.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. And then we normally shit on.
really? Why? What the fuck?
She's so mean.
What a weird. Oh, is she? She's been kind of rude to you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
almost exclusively.
Yeah.
Yeah, every single podcast.
Just bleep all of it out. Just
No,
bleep.
yeah.
Yeah, she can run a little hot. I guess.
Yeah. Okay, I was gonna ask you this. Have you always been so cool and composed? You ever a nervous child, and you rebounded to become super cool, or were you always cool?
I feel like I was always chill, but I definitely my junior year of high school, I only had 5 classes. I was on like because I had anxiety.
You were on the chill schedule.
Yeah, I know. So I didn't have to be at school until like 10. I didn't start school until like 10.
Okay, that's very awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, my friend, I didn't want to tell my friends about it because I was embarrassed. And we would all park at the same place across the street. And just my car would never be there. And I would just like,
At the
be like
beginning
where
of school,
are you? Yeah.
and they just never caught on,
No, they did. They asked me all the time. And I was like, don't worry about it.
and that worked.
Yeah.
What the
you,
fuck?
you don't have to tell anybody anything. They just never, Yeah, I've always been
And because of that, you just became more chill.
more chill. Yeah. Well, I like meditate and I do all kinds of stuff. Sam knows that. He's tried to throw me off, and it never works.
What kind of meditation?
I just sit down for 15 minutes and I just meditate.
What does that mean? Like, do you just think of nothing?
Yeah, try to. It's kind of hard. Your mind's always going to go off, but if
Yeah.
you just bring it back, I feel like people think like you just have to be like a blank void the whole time. It's never like that. No one ever does that.
No.
You just have to sit down. It's literally just about sitting down and like being bored.
I do
That's
that
the
a
whole
lot.
Point of it.
No, I'm serious.
The meditate. Do you meditate too? Do you like
I don't count it
breathe?
as meditating because I think
Okay.
that's kind of gay. But
It is.
what I do is I'll just sit down, or I'll walk to a location and I'll sit down, and I just will set a timer for like 30 minutes, and I'll just force myself to think.
Damn. Yeah, that's it right
Yeah.
there.
But the
That's
thing
all
is
it
I didn't think about it like meditation,
Yeah.
and because I was thinking of like this is a writing exercise,
Hmm.
because my rationale was if you think of nothing, you'll eventually think of something
Okay.
because it's impossible to think of nothing.
Hmm.
And so when I struggle to think of something, I'll think of nothing because then I'll eventually stumble upon
Are you
something.
writing while you're doing it? You're just thinking.
I have my
You're just
notepad
sitting there.
next to me, but I try
Ah.
not to touch it.
Okay.
And I also do it when I get high a lot. I'll just sit there and let my mind go.
Yeah, that's the way to
And-
go.
Yeah.
I feel like people are like so scared of getting bored just with your phone and shit, and it can be hard sometimes. I used to do 45 minutes meditation, which was like
That's a lot.
it's too much. It's like you can't even get up in the morning. It's like another whole thing that you have
That's
to
like an
plan for.
entire me browsing for porn.
Yeah, it's a whole lot.
That's-
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's way too much. Yeah, I don't think, and I think you get to a point of diminishing returns of like you're just sitting there at a certain point. So I'll do like 15 minutes, which is enough where I can sit down and commit to
Yeah.
that, and like not have my phone on me. But it's helped me a lot. I feel like
How so?
just over time, I've been doing it for 13 years now.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, and so I almost never miss a day. So it's just over time. Like at first, you think you're like gonna come out of it like I know everything.
Zen.
Yeah, exactly. It does feel better, like right after you do it. And then just over time, I kind of realized it was like, oh, I'm just a calm person now.
Yeah.
Just like a lot of stuff doesn't really affect me that much.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's made me more calm.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it probably takes some time, and maybe you don't notice it. Maybe you're a harder judge on
Yeah.
yourself.
I do take a lot of pride. This is gonna sound weird. I take a lot of pride in how much I think, because I think,
Whoa.
Whoa,
Sam, write that down.
meta.
Write that down right now.
Well, okay, so being a good thinker is being a good writer,
Okay.
you know, or being a good writer is being a good thinker.
Are you talking about overanalyzation, or you just think a lot and deeply?
Both.
Okay,
I
that's fair.
I think if you overanalyze, inevitably you'll think deep
Yeah,
about
you'll get to
something.
something at some point.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I try to constantly, especially in like a scenario where like you're on public transit or something, where you could just go on your phone or something.
Oh yeah.
I love to just observe. I listened to David Sedaris, his masterclass
Yeah.
on writing, on creative writing, and he said you should eavesdrop on people's conversations in public because you learn dialogue, like realistic dialogue, and you also like learn about like how humans work,
Mm-hmm.
and it's super fun to do.
I love his book. I just read Me Talk Pretty
Oh, hell
one
yeah.
day. Yeah, I've read like maybe 10 of his books, and I mean that's all it is. Like it's just journal entries, but he's such a good way of like making it interesting. Where I was like, if I wrote that down, it would just be like 3 sentences of like what happened today. But he has a good way of breaking it down and of like just making it intriguing. And it is all just like stuff that happens, like journal entries. It's
Yeah.
not like a funny story that he made up. It's just like everyday shit.
His details are so good.
Yeah.
Mike Birbiglia was saying that too with whenever you're writing a bit, every single or like when you're telling a story, we're both not really story guys,
Not at all.
but especially yeah, but when you're writing a story, I mean the same goes for a joke though.
Hmm.
Any single detail in that joke or story is an opportunity for another tag or like add on.
Could be a bunch of jokes just in the story.
Exactly.
Why don't you think you're a story guy?
Because I don't like talking about myself that much. Me and Sam have had this talk a lot because Sam will always chastise me for not, because I'll be telling him about my dad abusing me
Oh.
psychologically, and he'll be like, talk about that on stage. But then I get all awkward on stage.
Yeah.
It feels so disingenuous. It's like, to me, it's like I'm here to like have a good time with you guys. I don't want to just be but then you're supposed to spin it to be funny, obviously. But
Yeah, you don't think you can make it funny, or you just don't want to talk about it?
I mean, a lot of it's inherently funny because it's so weird.
Okay. Wow.
Because he, like, I'll tell you one random.
Okay. Yeah. If you feel comfortable.
So he was probably bipolar. He basically just started losing his mind. He just started deteriorating.
Undiagnosed. I feel like that happens a lot
Yeah.
with just like the older
So you could tell
generation.
him the same joke 20 times, and he'd have 20 different reactions to it.
Oh
It
wow.
was very scary. Like, you
Mm.
never knew how he's going to react. And then also, like, he would just do things and then have lapses in memory or judgment.
Oh wow.
Like, there was one time I was playing Frisbee outside, and I was by myself. It was very sad. I was throwing it
You
in
would
the
toss
air,
it
like,
really
high and then
high,
trying to catch it. Yeah, and then, like,
I mean, frisbee is the only thing you could really do that.
Well, boomerang.
With. Yeah. yeah. Actually,
it's kind of a step
there's
up.
no fun in the boomerang.
But we couldn't afford a boomerang.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was.
No, so I was playing Frisbee outside, and then he was really good at Frisbee. But he came out of the house. I was like 30 yards away from the house. Things were going all right. 30 yards away from the house, slight incline, and he opens the door, and he like looks at me, and I'm like, am I gonna get yelled at? Like, what's gonna happen? I'm just tense anytime he comes out.
Yeah.
And he just goes, toss it. And I was like, what? And he was like, just toss me the Frisbee.
Pigskin.
And
Come
then I
on,
was like,
throw it over here.
it's like, but I'm gonna hit the house. And he was like, are you not gonna toss me the Frisbee, dude? So then I was like, all right, you know what? Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
toss you the Frisbee. And I go to wind up, and as I'm winding up, I can see he forgets why he opened the door.
Just goes back
He-
inside.
He turns and closes the door and goes inside. And then I just watch in horror as a perfect forehand just goes and hits the window of the door.
Yeah.
And then I'm just standing there like, and then he
Yeah.
walks out and he's like, why the fuck would you throw a Frisbee at the
Oh,
house?
really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. It was crazy.
That's so hard when it's like in a cycle like that. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. Were your parents together? Did your mom know about it?
They got separated when I was in middle school.
Oh, okay.
But so my dad was he was like fine, and then his parents died, and then I was like, I won't talk about this on stage, but on a podcast. But his parents died, and then I was like 8 or 9, and then that like began the decline.
Yeah, something
then
that's
it
triggered.
Just
as
got
a-
worse and worse and worse and worse.
Oh, wow.
They got separated, and then my mom, because he was a stay-at-home. He got laid off because he told his boss to go fuck himself during the recession.
Hell yeah.
And then so my mom she was literally like working her ass off, and she was coming commuting to New York, and then she would come home and she would be like, "Why are the kids still awake?"
Yeah.
And my dad would be like, "Also, they need dinner."
Oh no.
Yeah.
He's not.
And then he would do we'd have like fight nights where he'd like wrestle me and my brother and my sister against each other, and my mom hated it. So she would
No sort of boxing on the TV or anything. It was
Basically,
it was
yeah.
within the family fight night.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
And so she would come home from working like a 10-hour day in New York City, and she would find us wrestling on the ground. And one of us like crying in the corner, and my dad like cheering us on, and then him being like, "Yeah, they haven't had dinner yet. It's also 11 p.m."
Yeah, there's shit in the toilet.
Yeah,
I don't know what to do about it.
Exactly.
Would he go easy on you guys, or it was about what was it?
No,
what
I
was
mean
the
he
purpose?
was. It was. What do you mean? Purpose of what?
He was trying to teach you guys how to defend each other. He thought it was a fun family
No, just
activity, like
entertaining.
game night.
Just entertaining.
Mm.
He like very much parented like a frat bro sometimes.
Okay.
I told Max on another pod, but he used to at the pool we were at. It was actually at the country club that we used to belong to because his parents were super wealthy.
Mm.
So I experienced extreme wealth and then extreme not.
Yeah.
Because
imagine.
then later his house got taken by the bank. So it was like a complete. I know what it's like.
Yeah, to
when I was
fall-
6 years old, I
to
was wearing a
fall from
little white
grace.
polo and I was
Yeah.
getting tennis lessons. And then everything fell apart. But at that pool, when I was like 7 years old, he'd be like, "Come here," and I'm like, "I don't want to." and then he'd be like, "No, come here," and then he would like wrestle me, and he'd pull down my swim trunks till I was completely naked, and then he would pick me up and throw me like completely naked at a group of teenage girls,
Wow.
and I would land on them naked.
I mean, that taught you probably something. I don't know what, but
Taught me that my body's disgusting.
yeah, that it should be feared by the opposite sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My point is, I don't like talking about this on stage.
Okay.
I think one day I will, once I get to the point where I'm super comfortable.
Mm.
But right now I have to be anxious and talk about how I don't make women come.
I mean, that's always a crowd pleaser. Yeah, I mean, I get that. Yeah, it takes time, and then maybe you don't think it's funny, or I mean, I feel like
I was just gonna say, it's not like you're an open book on stage.
No, not at all. If I give my very personal life, I keep it pretty close to the chest. But I'm also very fortunate. Like, my parents were together. They divorced when I graduated high school, and I was the youngest. So it was like, oh, we don't have to pretend anymore. But it was a good divorce. It was like they're a lot happier, and it wasn't messy or anything. But I think that's also why I'm fairly like chill and stuff like that, because I had a very good childhood. I mean, everyone was supported. I have two older sisters, and like we were always supportive, and we like ate dinner together, and like had game night and stuff like that. So from a young age, I was able to like, oh, everything's stable. I don't have to worry about money or food. I can just focus on myself. So I
Yeah.
remember being like 14 or 15. I'm like, I'm gonna figure things
Meditating.
out. Yeah, literally.
How did that lead to then you doing jokes?
I was always horrified of public speaking. I would pretend to be my dad, and I would call into my school if I had a presentation that day, and I would call myself out sick.
No fucking
Yeah,
way.
I was super close to not graduating high school. I was like literally on the edge there.
What was your GPA?
Oh God, like a 2.4 maybe.
Damn.
Yeah, it was really bad. But yeah,
Would
it
you
was
deepen
just
your voice to be your dad?
no. My voice was always.
You
like
do have a
this.
deep voice, so.
This is my voice right here. I swear to God.
When did you hit puberty? Like 10?
Yeah, probably like 13 or 14. Yeah, I
Lucky
think
son
I
of a
do
bitch.
gay voice all the time. Where I'm like, yeah, and so it sounds like it's higher because I've been
This
like,
is Aaron's dad.
yeah, what's up? Because I have been like, hey, how's it going? Everyone's like, what is that?
Yeah.
I was like, that's how I talk. But yeah, I was so scared, just so horrifically scared of public speaking that I would call myself out sick, pretending to be my dad, and then I would just fail classes horrifically. And then I did this thing called Toastmasters, which is like a public speaking.
I've heard about that.
It's like a public speaking club. It's for like business professionals. So I think I joined it when I was like 16 or 17, and it was all people 2 or 3 times my age. And you would go and like prepare a speech, and there was an improv section where it was like 45 seconds. I couldn't do that. I'd talk for like 15 seconds. I was like, all right, thank you. I have to go. Yeah, it was just too much. It was like just unbearable. I was like, there is no way. I like never thought I would be able to get on stage or do any of that. But it's probably the driving force behind it of like, I don't want to be scared of that
But
anymore.
did you know when you were doing that you wanted to do stand-up?
Not at all. I mean, I used to do like dumb videos with like my high school buddies, like when the Razor phone came out. Do you know
Oh,
the
I
Razor
remember.
phone?
That was a big deal.
Oh, it was huge. You could, when you did videos, you could pause it and then unpause it, and the video would keep going.
Yeah, like
so
a
we would
Vine.
like run into trees and then pause it.
Yeah.
And then do it, and then it looked like you disappeared in a tree, and we're like, this is revolutionary. So there's a lot of shit like that. Yeah, there's a lot of like dumb stuff like that. But so I did Toastmasters, but that was like doing another class. You had like homework, and I hated that when I was in college, my community college. There was I could take whatever class I want because it was like a bullshit. I forget what you call it. And then I saw an improv like class sign up, and I was like, oh, okay, that'll be probably be an easy A. And then I just fell in love with improv. I was like, oh, this rocks. And it was a team. I didn't have to be on stage alone.
Yeah.
And that was a huge part of it. I was like, oh, if this sucks, then it's not just me that
Not
you guys
just on
hate.
you.
It's a whole team. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and then the teacher was the owner of Comedy Sports San Jose, and then I did that for a few years. And then in college, I joined the stand-up comedy club, which was mostly like 5 guys just hanging out, saying to each other, "You're gay." So
Peak comedy.
yeah, that's it.
How
That's what
did you
it's-
decide you wanted to do stand up though? Because you still at that point you were like comfortable on stage with multiple people. Then how did you make the leap? You still must have had that deep seated fear, right?
Oh, horrible! But the stand-up comedy club, the school would give us money so we could hire like an F tier comedian that had been on Fallon once that could like at least draw people to the student union with like they had the shows, and then we would all open for them. So like we just kept doing that, and that was the start of it. We had Mecky Leaper one time. I don't know if you know.
Such a big fan.
Yeah, yeah. No,
His 2018 album.
he was on. You ever watch Jury Duty?
No.
Well, then this conversation is not gonna.
Improv.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah. But we hired him. And so yeah, it was a lot of that, and then we would like go to open mics together. So like the group of guys would just walk across the street to Cafe Stritch, where there was an open mic, and then I would do like a minute maybe. You get 3 minutes, and I was like, after a minute, I can't do this anymore.
You tap out
yeah, all the
because
time.
you didn't have material, or because you just were so nervous.
I was too scared. Yeah, I had material. I mean, like, I went back.
That's
Do
so
you ever
wild.
like try to pull your own jokes? Like look at your notebook and go to like your first ones and be like, maybe there's something good here.
I
can
do
pull.
that quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's very, very upsetting.
It's hard. Yeah, we had one because we would film the shows, and I went back like 2 years ago to watch one of the shows, and I was like, oh, maybe I can pull some material, and it was just like horrifically racist premises about just like the worst things of all time.
You
I was
started
like,
very similarly.
yeah, I was like, I can't believe I said this in front of 100 people. This is
No
so
wonder you were
embarrassing.
nervous.
Yeah, I was like,
This is
yeah.
my N-word
Yeah,
joke.
you guys, Asians are stinky. What do you think about that? There's a lot of that. Yeah.
How did you always have the same style?
I think so. I feel like, I mean, I love to talk about myself more because I feel like sometimes I do just try to make like an absurd situation, like talk about like a movie. Like, you guys know this movie? You know this part where this happens? What if? I'm like, that doesn't really feel like a genuine joke. It feels like I'm pulling a bunch of different references and then kind of putting just a sentence on the end of it. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel pure.
I kind of feel the same way, but then like Daniel Tosh will do what ifs, where it's just a giant theoretical,
Yeah.
and the theoretical is so fun that you're along for the ride the entire time.
Yeah, I think you get to a certain point where you can do it well enough that you're okay with it, especially Daniel Tosh.
Do you watch his stand up?
I mean, yeah, his old stuff like People Pleaser.
Dude!
Yeah, I know Tashi a little
Oh, let's go.
bit. And then
He's like writing wise right now. I mean, I told you Norm was my favorite of all time, but like
but
current
then
all time.
Daniel Tosh,
Daniel
really?
Tosh.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because he hasn't put out anything in like years.
I have an hour that he did at the Mirage on my phone because the guy
I've
recorded
never
it
even
and
heard
gave
of
it to
this.
me.
Oh, but like a recent one?
Yep,
or?
unheard
Oh, fuck.
hour. He has a whole COVID chunk.
Oh,
pretty
I bet
good.
it's down and dirty.
pretty good.
Yeah, it's surprising he doesn't release anything. But I think it's cool when comedians do that, like Justin Nick we were talking
Yeah.
about earlier. Like they don't need it. I mean, they can just kind of
They're
write
millionaires.
low-key. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also probably
Yeah.
a big part of it. But like, yeah, they can just kind of. I feel like that's like the dream. Like some people definitely do it
Totally.
for attention and for money, but like.
Like Segura and Kreischer, they go on these tours. They also always talk about like, oh, I never get to see my kids. Like, you're doing 60 dates a month. Of course, you don't see
No
your
wonder.
fucking kids. Yeah.
I think you also get to a certain point, just like any big comedians like that, where you just, to me, they just stop being funny. Like
Yeah.
like someone I used to love, and then they'll get really big, and I'm like, it's just not hitting anymore.
It's
I
not
guess.
relatable.
I don't think it's their fault though. Like you hang out with Michael Jordan, and you're like, oh, I'm not going to talk about buying groceries. Why the fuck would I do that?
I know.
don't do that anymore.
And then also, when are they writing?
Yeah.
Like, do you think they're sitting down and writing?
No, no.
Or going to open mics?
No.
Yeah.
And then, have you ever read Steve Martin's books, Born Standing Up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that
Made
happens
me
a lot
cry.
where it's like, oh, they just come for you, and then you have no gauge of what's funny anymore, because like they just like you, they just want you there.
I'm already getting there with the pod, man.
I know, yeah,
No, but yeah, that's like it's weird how in comedy, like I guess you could say the same thing with singing, where like they're just now attached to you as a person. Like Taylor Swift could put out anything.
Yeah,
People
I
are gonna
think
be
for
there.
probably her like Uber fans, but I don't know, music might be a little different. I think is it's so
Yeah, I guess you're not as
subjective isn't the right word, but just like
It's definitely different.
yeah.
But a lot of guys like their first or second album is their best album because
it's right after.
well, they've spent all the years it's like their first or second hour, so they spent all as opposed to like I've done 2 years and put this into an album.
Yeah,
It's like
15
my entire
years
career
of
up until this point, and now like Mark Norman Out to Lunch.
Oh,
like that
incredible.
was how I found Mark Norman
Mhm.
during quarantine, and I was
Yeah.
like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And then like Soup to Nuts, it was like I was there for the recording at
Oh,
the
really?
Vic. Yeah. Dude, I was actually depressed. I was just sad. I was a little sad. I was sad about comedy,
Yeah.
as I always am.
Yeah.
And then I was just sitting in my car outside the gym, and I'm broke, but I got like an ad. No, I was like, what mics are happening today? And then somebody commented on Facebook like, I can't make it to the mic. I'm gonna be seeing Mark Norman taping his special at the Vic today. And I just said fuck it and just bought a ticket. And then Drew was going, and we got to sit next to each other.
Ooh, that's tight.
I know, but I saw that, and I love Mark Norman, and it was just like, you know how his jokes work now.
Yeah, you can kind of guess.
So you're
the
kind of just
punchline
like,
and,
okay, it's just rule of threes analogy.
literally,
yeah.
and then
It was kind of weird.
It's like this, and then this
Yeah.
is like this. Yeah, and then I think once you do like stand up in your everyday life, like I don't really watch that much stand up once I get home because you're just around it all the
Dude,
time.
I listen to so much stand up.
I can't get enough of it. Yeah, well, I was doing like a terrible festival with Ricardo Angulo, and we were all at the festival all day long, and then we went back to the apartment, and he put up stand up, and everyone was like, "No, we're gonna watch."
I mean,
Fairly
I
Odd
understand
Parents."
that. Yeah.
We've had enough. I think you got to
Especially in
take
a group
break.
setting, it's like be quiet.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, watch this right here. Yeah. I think I need a break from it sometimes.
I will spend the day. I will wake up. I'll listen to a comedy podcast while I'm like making breakfast,
Okay.
and then I'll write, and then I'll like go to work or whatever. I'll do an open mic. I'll do poorly, and then to make myself feel better, I'll listen to comedy.
Okay.
Because to me, it's like I have to remind myself that things can be funny.
Yeah.
And then also, so much with writing, I don't know how this is with you. I'll just stare at my notebook and I'll be like, what is funny? How do I make funny?
Yeah.
Like, why is any of this funny? And then I'll just be like, how does Phil Hanley make things funny?
Mm.
And I'll just, like, for whatever reason, have you listened to Phil Hanley?
Oh yeah.
Ooh La La. Every single time I'm in a writing slump, I'll listen to either Louis or Phil Hanley. Because I think Louis really good at finding things that he takes topics that everybody's hit on, but he finds his own thing on it. And then Phil Hanley just is so naturally funny, and his writing is so tight. And every time I watch those guys, I'm like, that's how you be funny.
Yeah, I definitely used to get just so frustrated of like, what's the formula for funny? Is it like
Mhm.
I mention my dick and then it ends with like me?
Come?
Yeah, or like me sucking someone off. That used to be all my punchlines. Like, and then I sucked his dick. That was literally like the word for word.
And then you're like, am I a one suck dick
and
pony?
it worked like 60% of the time. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this must be it. But yeah, I used to pull my hair. I'd just be like, what's the formula for funny? Like, what is it? And then I definitely, Louis was like one of them where I'd watch and kind of like study in a way, but I feel like sometimes I would imitate him, which isn't bad. You're always going to imitate someone like who you look up to. Like he does this thing where he the way he speaks, he kind of pretends like he doesn't know the joke. Like he'll stumble on words.
He does do that.
But it's on purpose.
Norm
It's
does that
all
as
on
well.
purpose. Yeah, they know exactly what they're doing. So I feel like I picked that up a little bit, which I don't think is a bad thing, but you definitely don't want to seem like you're like just copying someone.
Yeah. And I think this is the reason Louis sounds so natural on stage like that, is because he said when he's, this has completely changed the way that I write too. It's because I used to write things out word for word verbatim, but then I would sound like I was just reading a teleprompter on stage.
Yeah.
And Louis, in an interview, he was like, if you're going to do a joke on cows, don't be thinking about what you're going to say about cows or whatever. Just be thinking cows.
Just feel it.
Just think cows. Like, what led me to this idea in the first place? And then just go up there and just let it happen. Which I know is like, most people suck. Everybody sucks, but like, not everybody. Damn, Tosh is pretty good. But but like I don't like the term writing on stage
Yeah.
because I write a ton off stage, but then like I can't. I have to just be free on stage because otherwise it's very inauthentic, and I have to like really be in the moment and have the cogs turning while I'm up there. Otherwise, you ever doing a set and then you just decide to do a joke that you haven't done in a while, but you know it like the back of your hand, and you think like they can probably just tell that I'm just reciting this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not like that energy
You've done it too many times.
on cows.
On cows specifically. I have a lot on cows. Yeah, I think 'cause I definitely like write stuff out. And, like the notebook, it's a crutch for me. Like even on a lot of shows, if I don't, either my memory's bad or I'm too nervous that I don't know the order. I don't trust myself to just be there and to just kind of to grasp it while I'm up there. So I do have that problem. I kind of want to get away from it, but also there are a lot of comics. Like I've had like other open micers tell me like, "Oh, I just write on stage." I'm like, "That's because you don't want to sit down."
Yeah,
Because it's homework. It sucks. You have to sit down. You have to write like on your free time. It sucks. So I think part of it. I think you can get to a point definitely where you can write on stage and figure out. Obviously,
I'm not writing on stage.
Obviously
I don't want
no,
to
no,
start that
yeah.
narrative. I'll come up with things on stage, but
I
I'm
just
not writing on
find
stage.
it. It finds me.
I did make it sound like that.
Yeah, no, but
No.
I think a balance of both. But definitely, I've been told that, and I'm like, oh, you're nowhere near good enough to be doing that. You need to sit down.
I mean, I don't think anybody at our level is good enough to just be going up there and be like, I'm gonna just figure this out.
I'll find.
Which I understand. It sounds like I was saying that I do that. I don't. I write a lot beforehand.
I've seen you just get it in the moment, just inspiration.
He's seen it.
The muse. The muse.
Well,
is the living
have you
thing.
noticed that I trip over my words a lot sometimes?
On purpose, or?
No.
No.
Just because I'm just floundering. But because I'm floundering, it's authentic.
Yeah, it kind of goes.
And then
with
it'll
your-
work. And the problem with that is that it'll be good in the moment, and then I'll listen to the recording, and I'll be like, well, I can't flounder on purpose. You know what I mean?
I think you could a little bit. You mean like you just trip up on words, like you go like, what's that fucking word?
I'll trip up on something, and then I'll like comment on it or react to the trip up, and then that will help the rest of it.
Yeah.
And then I can sort of glide into the, like, you know how you said I was like awkwardly confident at the roast battle?
Did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
What?
And then I didn't know how to respond, and you were like, see?
That sounds like a compliment. That was meant as a compliment.
Yes,
Yeah.
I didn't know how to take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like if I'm just bulldozing through it, then it's not me.
Yeah,
I
could
sort
see
of
that.
have to trip over it a little bit,
Yeah, and it definitely
but that's hard to
goes
replicate
with your-
organically.
On stage persona. Just make it work for you. Whatever works for you, you find it, and then you push it out there.
Yeah, I push it out.
Awkwardly though, have your arms trembling when you're pushing it out.
So when you're writing a joke, 'cause you write the super tight non sequiturs, when you're writing a joke, do you just write it word for word, and then like you write it in your notebook, and you're like, that's what I'm going to say, or do you have a punchline, and then you're sort of like, I know how I'm going to get to that misdirect?
No, I almost never do that. I have a few like in my Google Docs on my phone, like if I'm out and about and I
Do you
just
type?
Sometimes. I really like writing. I like putting like pen to paper. I'm always scared 'cause I have like 6 notebooks filled with stuff, and I'm like, oh, if it just burned, I don't remember any of this stuff. I have to like go through it to remember it. So it would just be gone forever. So it's a scary thought sometimes. I'm like, I just have to start with absolutely nothing.
Well, before you get back to what you say, can I say something really
Go
quick?
ahead.
If the ideas are good, you'll remember them.
Yeah, I think if it's really something,
And then if you don't, you could make the argument that they weren't
they weren't worthy.
like a lot of screenwriters they'll write their first draft, and they'll, not a lot, but like some will just like burn their
Just
draft,
completely
or they'll
trash
put
it,
it in a
yeah.
drawer, and they'll just rewrite from scratch, and their rationale is like, if it's not important, it'll get omitted.
Yeah, just completely wipe the slate clean.
So I believe that if you lost your notebooks tonight, I still think that you'd be all right.
Don't go in the den. I don't want you to see you in
Aaron
the
quit
office.
comedy.
Yeah,
He lost
all
his
those
notebooks.
notebooks are gone.
All right, but what were you gonna say?
I have like a few like punchlines where I'm like, oh, this is just a funny 3 words in that order. But I've never been able to start from the punchline and then work backwards into like a joke. I always start with like the premise or a funny sentence or just an angle or a thought, and then I go from there. But trying to talk to myself about myself a little bit more, because I feel like I hate using the word relatable because I feel like it's used too much. We're like, but you do want the audience to just understand it immediately or be like, oh yeah, that's me.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
helps them like you.
Yeah, and that's important.
Less disconnected. Yeah.
Do you think you're likable on stage?
No. Off stage.
Really?
No, I think I'm fine.
I think you're likable.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
I think I'm likable, but not in a sexy way. Me and Zach,
I
Les were talking
separate
about
those
that.
two. You think because if someone's hot,
Dude, you're in a sexy way. Come on.
I mean, but do you think if like a hot person just went up, they already like them because they're hot?
I think they're predisposed to liking them, and then it depends on what their material is.
Yeah,
But like, hot helps for sure.
I'd say like being on stage, but it does make you funnier. I
No,
don't think
no.
so.
Well, so that's what I love about comedy is you can be as hot as you want. If you suck, no one's gonna laugh.
Yeah.
But I think if you're hot and you're funny, then it's like, booyah.
Jackpot, baby.
Okay, so yeah. Also, I don't know. I think maybe hot's not the right word, but if you're just like an attractive person, people automatically will like you a little bit more. Just their oonga boonga biological sense. I do think that.
Auga.
Yeah, seriously. Especially if you've got the goods out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
The
helps.
honey, the milkers.
I've started going up on stage. I have varicose veins in my testicles, so they hang very low. It's
And
medical,
only your testicles.
it's a medical
is it?
issue.
Wow.
Yeah. But I've started going up. I've taken some notes from our female contemporaries. I started going up on stage with my nuts hanging out.
That's good.
I have their attention the whole time.
Yeah. They don't.
They're just staring
they
at
don't
me.
hear a single word you say, but they still clap at the end.
Jesselnick said sometimes it's not about the reaction; it's about that they're paying attention. And every time I've done that,
they can't keep their eyes off me.
yeah. But yeah, I think likability is super important. But then, as you're saying, you have to back it up. Like, there are a lot of people. You and I are both more writers. There are some people that just have a lot of personality.
Yeah,
and
but no.
you're kind of like,
material
this
to
is a
back it up.
veneer. There's not really anything backing this up.
They just learn how to perform and like be high energy, which there's nothing wrong with that. That's just another skill. Like I used to hate like not comics we know, but famous like Amy Schumer. I was like, she sucks. But comedy is so subjective. Like Carrot Top has a residency at Vegas, so there's like millions of people out there that are like, he is funny. So it's just so subjective. There's so many different ways going about it and just skills.
Well, the personality thing kind of bothers me because it's like you're tricking the audience.
Yeah,
it almost feels like this isn't fair.
Like a salesman, you're like, this guy's doing me dirty.
Yeah,
but he's shaking my hand.
You sort of are selling yourself on stage, but I like how you, even more than me, like if it's not going well, we can literally just be like, all right, well, here are my jokes. You know what I mean?
You can have that back you up. Always.
Yeah, like me and Sam have talked about like high energy comics that are like more personality driven as opposed to like having solid writing. And I think it's funny to watch them struggle because it's like, what are you gonna do now?
You're in the back.
You're just gonna keep you're just gonna keep turning it
dance,
up.
monkey, dance.
I know.
Yeah, it does seem like that. Yeah, there's a few people I can think of right now.
And don't get me wrong, what was that?
Nothing. Go ahead.
I want to be a monkey. I just don't want to, I want to be a monkey with good writing.
Yeah. I think both are possible.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's just keep that silence.
This is the first awkward silence I've had on my podcast.
This is good. I like silence. I'm a fan of it.
You know Craig Ferguson?
Yes.
Do you ever watch his clips?
No.
You have to.
They're good?
He's a master.
Master
interviewer, master flirt.
I think I've like when I'm
Flirting
scrolling through YouTube,
Dude,
I haven't watched them.
You have to watch.
Yeah,
he undresses
suave
women
bastard.
in front of audiences. It's unbelievable.
Wow.
I've been trying to take notes.
What are like the keys?
Successfully. A lot of mirroring, like verbal mirroring. So if they say something, you just say it right back, and then it works.
Yeah, that just seems just so easy. She's just like.
Well, I mean, it is easy. It's just nobody has the balls to do it.
Yeah, that's true. And then it's probably.
But I mean, he's also like one of the quickest guys ever.
Yeah.
Like so one woman, she said like my sister does internal medicine, and he was like, what is that? Where they do it inside? Only takes place indoors.
Boom.
And right away,
Yeah.
You're in.
He's got her.
Yeah, you're in.
He's
You're
got her
inside.
on the
Yeah.
line. Yeah, I can see that. Being quick, and he's British too.
He has a segment, and he also does a ton of innuendos. Like it's very sexual.
Constantly.
he does a segment called Awkward Silence, where he'll be like, "Would you like to do an awkward silence?" And they'll be like, "Yeah," and then they just they just
How
like
long
stare
does
at
it
each other.
typically go for?
They'll go for like 30 seconds to a
Mm.
minute, and it's just them looking at each other, but you could tell that they've got a good repertoire relationship or whatever. So the audience is laughing throughout.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's a non-verbal thing. They can
Yeah.
just kind of hang
I
out.
mean, if you're at the point in a conversation or an interview where you can still do well with silence,
You've got it. You've got it under wraps. I think about this a lot. If like someone challenged me, like if we just sat in a room, just in two chairs and stared at each other, not like a blinking contest, but just sat there.
staring contest.
Yeah, yeah. No, we don't have to be
I
staring
could
at
kill
each
a
other.
blinking contest.
Yeah. And it's how many blinks at the end of an hour. If we just sat there and nothing said, and then like you don't move or you don't really do anything, I think I could outlast anyone.
I really believe that.
Yeah.
you
I have
you
that-
seem like
it's
you're
a
built
fan-
for
it's
that.
like a fantasy of mine, which is weird. I'm like, yeah, I could. No one could.
Like
could
the final of
outlast me.
Squid Game is just don't budge.
Yeah. Like, oh, that's it. That's Aaron 008. There he is. Yeah.
Yeah, you have that thing, that quality of like you're looking through me.
I think you told me one time. No, it wasn't you. It was it was Bo Lerner. It was a different comic.
Go ahead.
He was like, he's like, you have very intense eye contact. But I was like, I'm just you're talking to me, so I'm looking you in the eyes.
Can you tell when you're can you tell when you're looking through versus at?
No, I don't think so. How do you?
Because I can sort of like change it up when I'm looking at a girl, like really like
Are you still looking at her eyes? Or are you looking
look
past
of
her?
admiration.
Are you? I didn't even catch that too. That was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then back up.
I'm a guy who moves their whole head when I yeah.
Oh.
I will psych myself out on the street when I walk by people now because when I was in Spain, women don't check me out in America. Travesty.
I'm sure they do.
So also,
Those curls.
I'll get to that.
They go crazy for those curls.
Girls don't like the curls.
They do like the curls. That's
You're right.
there you go. I love it. A
mean,
straight-haired man.
One time I was in Great Clips, and I had like super long hair, and it gets super curly when it's that long.
Yeah.
And there were like, it was like the Golden Girls were in there with me, like 3 old women, and they were all like, "Are you getting a haircut? You're cutting that off? Like, what are you doing?" And all 3,
Darling.
they like all sat around me, and they're like, "You must have a girlfriend." And I was
Yeah.
like, "I don't." And they're like, "You need one." I mean,
I'll
this
pay
is
you
unbelievable.
my weight in gold for those curls.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
And they have
old women
gold.
love them. Yeah.
Because they're
Yeah, they care.
under their
Doubloons,
floorboards.
They go, look, I have pirate treasure.
Yeah, exactly.
give
I'll
you
give
as
you a couple
much."
coins and Mentos.
As much as you want.
They gassed me up so much. I mean, it was borderline sexual assault how much they gassed me up, but it was like the most. I loved it so much.
Which is okay from older women. That's okay
absolutely.
to do.
I welcome it from all women, actually, if you want to verbally sexually assault me.
You said in Spain?
In Spain. In Spain, I did very well. From
'Cause
a
you
look
think-
standpoint, because
Okay, 'cause
I'm like an Asian guy there. Well, I shouldn't say
Yeah.
that. I'm
Blue
exotic
eyes
because I got the
and-
blue eyes, blonde hair, so
Mm.
you'd have the same. I
Wow.
mean, I feel like you already do. Okay, but we'll get to that. But so for the first time in my life, I experienced what it was like, and that's how I know now that women don't check me out on the street is because I was experiencing people checking
yeah,
me
there's
out.
a feeling.
and my-
you can tell someone's looking at you even when you're not.
Yeah,
really.
and my friend, he started pointing it out at first, and he was like, "This is insane." He's Asian, so people were
Mm.
checking him out in like a different way.
Yeah, I know.
They were like, "That's the
for
animal."
science.
Yeah, exactly.
They were like, we need to run some
there's
tests on
there's an
what the
AI
hell
here.
this
Yeah,
is.
exactly. So it was a group of 3 white guys and 3 Asian guys.
Okay.
It was pretty cool, pretty
Yeah.
diverse. And so he was like, "What you have to do is when a lady checks you out, look at her, and then she'll look away." And then look right back, and if she's looking back at you again, that means that she
It's
was
green light.
yeah. And I did that. Well, so that's my new go-to on the sidewalk of Chicago. But
Okay.
most girls, when I walk by them, they make like a concerted effort to like look down at their
Yeah,
shoes
I
or
feel like
something.
That's like an American thing.
It's very yeah, it's frustrating. And
Yeah.
then but this one girl like 2 days ago, I did the eye contact at first, and then I looked away, and then I looked back, and she was still looking at me, and I just held eye contact and just held eye
Yeah,
contact,
maybe too long.
and we
right.
just stared at each other for like 10 full seconds. And she was like you. She just didn't budge at all.
Yeah.
And literally, like, she passed me, and I went, oh, like, I had to, like, regroup
Was she
mentally.
cute?
Yeah.
Why don't you talk? Would you say something? Just more
Too
the surprise
I
that she
can't.
was holding the eye contact.
It
You're
was-
like, I don't know.
I've never, because most of the time the other person will like, they're like, I can't do that. Like,
Yeah,
it's
checking
such
out
a
and then-
weirdly intimate thing to
Yeah.
make eye contact with somebody that you don't know.
Mm.
And it was just, I mean, we were just directly making eye contact with each other for so long.
You were this close too.
Yeah, it was
is how
scary.
weird it was. Do you make eye contact with people who pass you on the street? Not even like hot girls, just regular folk.
Yeah.
Like
I like
every
to
single
treat
one you
everybody
choose?
equally. Seriously,
That's kind of
except for homeless people.
yeah,
I
they're dirty and don't deserve
I
love.
keep my eyes forward for them.
Yeah, I feel like I want to, but it just feels like a weird thing. Oh, and then you do. There's always like the joke about white people that they go,
Yeah, that
white people always be like, and then
Yeah.
I do that, and I'm like, damn it.
I
don't
know,
that's
dude, it's
weird.
so ingrained. But I
Yeah.
mean, as we were talking about, I kill with black people. So like, if I see a brother and they go like that, oh, yeah, you know what's up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, I'm going to get black in my eyes.
But I do
in the
find
store.
myself doing a lot of them.
Yeah. there you go.
Yeah, it's like at the
It's-
airport.
I'm trying to be
especially.
nice, just
yeah.
like an acknowledgement, but it
I
just
acknowledge
feels
that you
awkward.
exist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
it's
we
not
doing?
that cool.
How we doing? Hey, how's it going? Yeah, usually I'll do like one in every 5. Sometimes I'll look and I go, oh, I say good morning sometimes,
Whoa,
which is
good God,
a
man.
lot. Yeah. I feel like in the Bay, everyone's so, people aren't rude, but there's just like so much going on and everyone's kind of go, go, go. You just don't, you wouldn't like do that
In the Bay,
in the Bay.
you're from Frisco.
How dare you call it that?
I said that because there was a comedian doing stand up in San Francisco, and he asked where a guy was from, and he said Frisco, and he was like,
Yeah,
"You
as in
piece of shit."
boo. Yeah, they don't like that.
I didn't know you're from San Francisco.
Yeah, well, like an hour outside of it, but I always say the Bay Area or San Francisco.
That's super moderate.
Yeah.
Like temperature wise, right?
San Francisco?
Temperate.
Yeah.
Is that the right word?
I mean, California's. Are you talking like temperature?
Yeah, isn't it like always like
Weather?
70?
Yeah. I
That's-
like winter. That's why I like being here.
I love
I'm
winter.
just sweaty all the time. In
I'm
California.
sweating right now.
Yeah, I've got
so
I'm
much.
a little dude up.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna shower after this.
I was with a girl recently, and because it's so hot here. Yeah. Not having sex.
Fuck.
And we were cuddling, and her face.
Oh,
Her face was in my armpit, and I.
that's bad.
Yeah, and she said something about she like made up. It was definitely like a made up thing where she was like, "Our pheromones match, so I don't smell your sweat."
No,
She
she's
said
right.
that.
That's not made up.
I don't think that's true at all.
No. Well, she's kind of right.
She was like deep in my armpit.
Because I did read Cosmopolitan. No, you don't understand. She
25
was
ways to make guys come.
7 tips and tricks.
It was one of them.
There is something to that though, where if they're into
If you
you,
have matching.
if their pheromones match up, not only, I don't know about the not smelling though. I think there is something to that, but she was about it.
It smells good. or
That's
what?
why she was getting so deep. But yeah, it
If
smells
the
good.
pheromones match, it smells good.
Mm-hmm.
I've never smelled.
Which is weird because she smelled like shit.
Women stink. In general.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think I don't.
Every
like
woman
them,
I've ever been
actually.
with
Yeah.
smelled so bad.
The boys are always so.
Yeah, you
so
ever-
it's smelling good.
Yeah, I want it to smell like a hockey locker room.
Yeah. Did you ever use Axe as
No.
a teenager?
I was never cool enough.
Is that a cool thing? I
I
don't
was
know.
always a Dove woman's spray.
I mean, maybe less cool, but more practical. Probably helped you in adult life of like not.
The Dove.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually didn't have to use deodorant until college.
Really?
I didn't hit puberty so late.
I mean, it's puberty. I
Yes.
feel like boys are smelly. Boys are really.
No,
smelly.
I didn't. I literally like would not. I mean, to this day, I mean, I'll sweat if it's hot, but if I don't do cardio, I don't sweat.
Wow.
Yeah,
You're like my dad.
I guess so.
Yeah, my dad
Daddy?
doesn't sweat. Papa,
Why are you
Papa, where's your sweat? He's getting his armpits.
Daddy will get sweaty.
Where's no sweat? You don't worry about that. Yeah, I've always sweated pretty bad, but in 'cause like everyone in the boys' locker room would just like spray each other. We like spray each other in the eyes, and then we'd have a lighter. We'd have a lighter, and we'd do a flamethrower. You ever do that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen it,
That was a
but
lot.
I never did it.
Yeah.
Did you ever light your farts on fire?
Not successfully. I feel like. Do you have to be?
You have to like
Bare
really get the
butthole?
legs up.
Yeah. Can you
No,
do
you
it
don't
through
have to go.
pants?
I think if you have enough pressure,
it can travel
enough
through
psi,
pants.
yeah,
I think I'd shit myself if I tried it.
you could.
That'd be kind of cool.
It'd be a whole nother challenge.
No, never done it.
You how thick is your ass hair?
Very thick.
Really?
I'm a hairy fella.
'Cause mine is like unbelievable.
Is it a lot?
Dude, tell me if this happens to you.
I feel like if you don't have facial hair, then your ass hair is thicker. I've heard this, like, it's always
Alright.
surprising when guys are like, yeah, my ass hair. I'm like, dude, my ass hair. Do you have hair inside?
You're like, no.
Yeah, listen, fella. Do you have hair, like, inside your, like, around your asshole?
The Devil's Driveway, yeah. Like everywhere right around the hole
Yeah.
is just fucking Vietnam.
Yeah. I used to get dingleberries so bad.
Well, used to. What changed? Did you bleach?
uh,
No way.
No. I like shave the inside of my asshole though.
The inside?
Just like wiping, dude. The fucking dingleberries don't stop.
Well, I don't really have dingleberries, but I will have the lint from my underpants and it will get tangled in my ass hair.
Really? I feel
I
like
had
after
one-
you wash clothes like once or twice, do you still get
No,
lint?
I have very linty
Yeah, you've got
underpants.
the extra strength lint.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then it'll create like you know what a rat king is?
No.
It's like when a bunch of rats. Wait, this is gonna be worth it. I'll put up a picture.
They
Rat king.
they morph together and
It's when all their tails get tangled. Fucking, are you kidding me? Rat king. When all their tails get tangled together and then they die 'cause their tails are fucking.
oh whoa.
Yeah, so that's like my ass, and there's like a lint ball right there.
That's right. There's also rats.
Yeah.
Funny enough.
But today, I mean, I literally had to pull out 3
wow.
in the shower, and
Yeah.
it was so painful.
Yeah, I don't even deal with them anymore. So maybe that's something you should.
How do you shave? Do you bend like? Do you have someone else do this for you?
No, unfortunately, I don't have a gal.
If you did have a gal, would you
That'd be
ask
the
her to do
first
it
thing
for
I ask.
you?
It's one of my hinge prompts.
Do you have a
It's
hinge?
like we'll fall in love.
Do you have a
if
hinge?
Yeah.
Can I see your profile?
Yeah, of course.
Oh man, how well do you do on? How many likes do you average per day?
I do okay.
What's okay? Come on.
Like a weekly average or a day? I know a day is different.
Give me a day.
Day. Like some days are slower, some days are faster. I don't
Okay.
know. Weekly, maybe like
Yeah, just give me a number. You're kind of pussyfooting right now.
yeah, like 8 to 10 maybe.
A day?
No, week.
Okay. I was like, what are you, a woman?
Yeah, a lady. I know that's the craziest part of like.
All right, first picture, you in front of Zanies.
You got him right, but it's not. You can't see the full zany
Big
sign,
arm,
so there's
big
a,
bicep.
There's a mystery to it.
5'11", just round that up. Come on.
No, I'm weak.
You with a bunch of black guys? You know exactly what you're doing.
Come on, brother.
Ryder,
It's
that's
me and,
awesome.
Me and the friends.
Oh, that's your Instagram profile picture.
Yeah, is it?
Damn, dude.
I had a.
I understand why the women are
I had
flocking.
a friend critique it and help me with the pictures. Actually.
Female?
Yeah.
That's
Because
smart.
the old when I first started, I had never done dating apps before, and it was just like a bunch of. It was just terrible pictures of me and just like
Yeah.
bad hinge.
I find
prompts.
it hard to get good photos of me that aren't like. I feel like women almost have like this unspoken social agreement where it's like if I'm doing this thing, just snap a pic.
Well, it's weird for a guy to just have a picture of himself.
That's what I mean.
alone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't have any of those.
It's like how am I supposed
I
to
gotta do
acquire
it
that?
myself, which
Yeah.
is even weirder.
I want to like hire a stalker to just
Yeah.
photograph like candid photos
Just
of me.
kinda, yeah, behind the shoulder.
I was thinking about that. Do you think you could like if you were stalking somebody, but you had like a deal with them where you sent them really good candid photos? Do you think they'd let you do it? Where it's like I'll
This
let
is-
you stalk me, but every month you have to send me like 50 good edited photos of me doing.
The stalkee is a man or a woman.
I'm assuming guy stalking woman.
Probably most women wouldn't go for it, but
If they're very vain.
yeah. Well, so actually, most women would go for it.
Every single one.
Now that I think about
No.
it.
Well, do you ever like you're talking to a girl on Hinge and you see her Instagram and it's just all selfies
Yeah.
and you're like, this is just a portfolio of you being hot. This isn't like even activities or experiences or like get thrown a fucking mountain or like a
Something.
lake
God, don't
or
you
a
have
dog.
yeah.
It's just like all
Some
perfectly
activities.
curated.
Yeah,
Self-
that's a
up
little
close
bit of a red
selfies.
flag sometimes. Or if it's only like a really close picture
That's what I'm
of their
saying.
face.
It's
yeah.
just like the entire frame is their face.
Yeah. I'm like,
and
oh,
then
there's
the captions like XOXO what you missed.
yeah, like summertime and chai. You're
Mm.
like, okay,
Yeah.
you have a lot of other things holding you back.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Were you ever on Bumble?
I was. I'd never got a single like.
Yeah, I don't think I did either.
Nice.
But it's 'cause I guess they changed it, so like
They did?
girls don't have to be the ones to reach out.
The one fucking.
I mean,
The
but
one
because
reason
no
that
one
app
was
should
getting
have been
laid.
good. Yeah.
They were like,
Because
this
the women
isn't
weren't
working.
doing it.
Yeah.
Look,
'Cause it's harder
I'm
than it
gonna make a
looks.
statement right now into the internet. Women want equality so bad. They say they want
All
it.
right, I don't know. if I
Then they
can
get
back
an
this
app.
one
They
up.
get an app where they get to experience
I've
what it's
backed
like
you
to
up
be
so
a
far.
man.
Yeah.
You agree?
Walk a mile in our shoes.
Exactly.
Yeah, in our socks.
With our lifts.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
Yep. I don't think it's okay at all. But yeah, I guess they changed. I don't know what it is now.
So now it's just Tinder but yellow.
Yeah. Just
But it's a
little
bee
bit, just a
theme.
little bit nicer.
What's the point?
Yeah, I was on Tinder for like a day, and I was like, "Ooh, this is dangerous."
I did the exact same thing.
Yeah, I wish I would have hopped on it when it first came out, 'cause like all my buddies were using it, and I would just hear stories of like anal on the first date.
Is that what you're into?
Uh, well,
That means yes.
like a year ago, I did do anal on a first date, so it was like, yeah, hell yeah.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, it was a bit of a
Did you do puss or just anal?
both.
What
Both
order?
were her ideas too, and I was like, "Are you sure about that?"
Be weird if
Well,
you were
I
like, "Can
guess.
I go pussy now?"
Yeah, I don't really like this. I mean, I think I kind of was like, "All right, that's enough." It was like just
Yeah.
like 20 seconds. And
That was a Hinge date.
I was like, "Yeah."
Wow.
Yeah.
So she got kicked off Tinder,
Yeah, and
something like
the
that.
freaks had to scurry elsewhere.
How did you? How did you get her? How did you go from? Did you meet up at a restaurant? I assume.
Yeah, it was at a bar.
And then she was like, "Do you want to get out of here and fuck my ass?"
Not those
just
words.
can't understand
it was
how
in a
this
different
works.
way. I mean, it was kind of. She had just gotten out of a long relationship. Usually, you find that on like apps, like someone's going through something. You're like, oh, that's kind of why you're on here. Like
Exactly.
Yeah, like everyone's kind of going through something using this. This is like it's like drinking.
We're all
or like a
coping
drug.
together?
Yeah, it's like a way of like trying to numb yourself. There was a girl I went on a date with, and we were like talking, and things were going well. We had chemistry, and then she was like, "Give me 1 second." Then she looks at this guy past me. He's like kneeling on a wall. She's like, "I don't like when people fucking look at me." And it was he wasn't even. He was like, "Are you talking to me?" And she almost fought him.
She talked to him. She said that to him.
She said that too. So the guy like passed me.
What
like,
the
on
fuck?
the wall. And then we went to Emporium, and then she got in a fight with 2 black people over air hockey. We were playing air hockey, and then I didn't witness the lead up to it, but then there was these 2 black women who were like in her face and were like, "We'll beat your ass." And then
You
I
gotta
went
take
home, I went
their
home
side.
with her. Yeah.
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 That's not a good sign.
No. And then
That's
she
not
told
a
me
good sign at all.
At the first place, she told me that her uncle was addicted to heroin. Her sister just got out of a mental institution. Is
Sure.
that the politically correct?
I don't
out
know
of
if
a
there is
loony
one at
bin.
this point. Yeah.
Out of
Wherever
a
Brian
woman
Johnson
center
is.
what they call them. And then her cousins were dating, and she like told me that, and
And then she was like, "But I'm perfectly normal."
yeah, she was like,
Was that her pitch? Like, I'm
no,
kind
no,
of the
we
only
were
normal
just
one?
talking, and that was like one of that was like, so do you? How's your family? Do you have
She's
brothers
like,
and
"Buckle
sisters?
up."
She was like, by the way, I'm fucking my sisters. Yeah. So I feel like a lot of people use those apps to run away.
But you're searching for love.
Maybe.
I like to talk very deeply about love with people that I don't
Okay.
know that well.
That's fine.
Are you searching for love on Hinge? Sort of like a if you find it, you find it.
I guess so. I don't know if I'm capable of like romantic love, which sounds psychopathic, but I've had like 5 or 6 girlfriends, but I've never dated anyone for more than 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's always like
And did you end it?
yeah, almost every time. And it's always like I think sometimes it's been 'cause I was scared of like, oh, I don't want to do commitment of like hang out with someone 3 days a week.
It's a lot.
I don't
Hurts
even
my
like
comedy.
Anthony that much. Yeah, it's gonna ruin my gym time. And then I think there's a part of that, but then there's some times where like, oh, I don't have a connection with someone like that. Most people,
How did you tell them that?
I just go, it's our vibes are different. That's my go-to.
That's a good. Our vibes don't match.
Our vibes don't match. I broke up with my high school girlfriend in a terrible way. It was like I just graduated high school and she was a year below me, and I took her to see Guardians of the Galaxy.
One or
and-
two.
One.
Okay.
And
I
then
should have known that
and then-
timeline wise.
Yeah, and then paid for dinner, and then I drove her back home and outside her house. I was like, this isn't working out. And I look back at it now. I was like, why did I do any of that? It would have been so much easier.
Was it that you watched the movie and you were like, I need
I was
my
planning on doing it the whole time.
Oh,
I was like, let's have a nice night. I think I thought I was being nice by like being a gentleman and
Yeah.
taking her out.
I
But
mean-
then at the end of this like really nice night, I'm just like, yeah, we're not.
She's like, I had so much fun, and you're like, yeah, had. It's over.
And it's the last one.
Kiss me
Yeah,
goodbye.
you really should have took that movie, and you weren't watching any of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I broke up very immaturely. Basically made a girl break up with me because
Mm.
in
So reverse psychology.
yeah, because breaking up sucks.
Yeah, it does.
and but my sophomore year of college, it was COVID, and I was with this girl, and then we were like, are we gonna stay together through COVID? Because we were going home, and I was like, it's only gonna be 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then flash forward like a month later, and I just like I never wanted to call her ever. I never had any desire to. Same with I dated a girl for a year and a half, and I just never wanted to call
Yeah,
her.
it sounds like you're.
And whenever
worse
she
in
wanted to call me, I
relationships,
would be like, "Why are we doing? What are we doing?" She was like, "I want to talk about my day," and I
I
was
don't
like,
really want to talk to you that much.
But then I was
you
like,
think we get along?
but then I
that
was
well?
like, no, but I do love you. I
Oh,
definitely.
boy.
I thought. I mean, I think I'm in love with everybody,
Yeah.
and then as soon as I'm out of it, I'm like, I don't know. What is love?
I never felt anything the whole time.
And then so it's like a reset of nah, I've never loved anybody.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you think you just get so scared about breaking up with them that you're like, I'll just let this run its course
Yeah,
until
sort of.
she decides.
Until she's just like, this guy sucks.
Man.
But the problem is I'm so great.
Yeah.
No. But this girl called me over quarantine. She was like, she was like, yeah, you just like never call me, or we barely talk during the day. What's going on? And then she basically was like, don't you think about me? And I said, sometimes, if I'm being honest, I
You have
forget.
to say if I'm being honest.
I said, sometimes, I remember where I was sitting when I said this, because I was about to go play my friends in tennis. And I was like, I have to call this bitch.
Yeah, I gotta go. I'm late. I'm fucking late.
I literally, I
already.
was like, I'll be there in 2 minutes.
She's
The
ruining my
Pennington
life.
School courts. I was like, sometimes, if I'm being honest, I forget that I have a girlfriend. And she said, I'm going to let you be a free bird and fly.
She say those exact words.
Exact words. She was a very whimsical person.
Yeah, that's a.
And then I was like, okay, that was sort of affirming. And then we never talked again. She was so nice, and I feel so bad. And then years later, my mutual friends have been like, she liked you a lot. And I was like, I had to fly, man.
Yeah, listen, fellas.
I'm a peacock.
You can't cage
You gotta
this
let me
bird.
fly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's better to be, I don't know about brutally honest, but honesty. Don't play games,
But
That's the
everybody, the whole thing is a game. Like you have to play the game to some extent.
Like at the beginning when you don't really know each other that well.
Especially in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because also there's like this whole thing of like when you met in the 60s, it was like, hey there, I'd like to take you out for a
Sweet
date.
darling, yeah.
And then if that goes well, you're like, I think I might have myself a wife. But like, you'd really like you both knew that because they have like nuclear families at like 30 or earlier than that. In their 20s, they'd have kids. So you'd go on a date with a woman and you'd be like, all right, this is trending toward marriage.
Yeah, it was more
I don't think
assured
they
what
had a
both
lot of
you
situationships back then. You know what I mean?
No, probably not.
I'm sure they did have promiscuous
The men, yeah.
and
probably.
like hooking up and stuff, but like now on Hinge, so much it's like, so what are you looking for? I don't know. What are you looking for? And then you have to be like, I don't know, because if you're like something, because this something's not, I don't know.
You want to match
So
them.
yeah,
You
exactly.
don't
That's
wanna-
exactly what happened with the last girl that I was talking to. She
Okay.
was like, I think it's so insane that people can just go on like 3 dates and then think they're ready to like date somebody. And I was like, that's, oh my God, that would be so weird.
You're so right and so beautiful.
I know. I
and
was like, you're so stop
charismatic.
talking. I want to kiss your face now.
Kiss me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You think you're a bit of a hopeless romantic?
I'm absolutely a hopeless romantic. Emphasis on the hopeless.
Oh boy.
I definitely am though. Like if I kiss somebody and then we're laying down next to each other, I have to like longingly look into their eyes and stroke their face.
Really?
It's
Stroke the face.
I'm crippling. Yeah, I have to. I have to like
The back of your hand.
no, like I'll trace the outline of their face and I'll like go on their eyebrows and stuff.
Wow.
I like to get I really want to like understand everything.
Yeah, you want to be able to sketch them from memory later.
Yeah, when they like when they murder somebody, I want to like be able to tell a sketch artist
Don't even tell
exactly
me I
what they
can do
look
it,
like. Yeah.
Blindfold
Just
me.
give me the
I
notepad.
got
I'll
this
do it.
bitch,
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like once I feel like I'm connected with somebody, I just feel like I'm so connected,
Yeah.
which is bad. But then I don't know if I've ever had like a real deep, true. Because I think if I did, I'd be afraid to say I love you. If that makes sense.
Yeah, because you had your heart broken before if you said it
I don't
previously.
think I don't think I've had my heart broken. I just think that rejection hurts a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And just knowing that somebody doesn't want to be with you
Yeah.
is just when you want to be with them. It's pretty gay.
That's
It's pretty gay, pretty universal.
Yeah,
but pretty
it
gay.
is gay. Have you ever had someone ghost you on Hinge. And I had a girl do that, and then she sent me another like. It's been like a year and a half later.
I have a crazy story for you, my friend.
Okay, let me hear it.
I had a girl, she was hot. She's still hot.
Yeah.
And hot blonde with bangs. Bangs normally not my type, but she pulls them off.
She doesn't have like a big forehead. She's not hiding anything.
No, I can actually show you her just for context.
Yeah, let me get.
So we matched together, and okay, one sec. Let me just. Oh, sorry.
Let me see your messages.
Sorry. I just got a like, dude.
I want to delve that deep into your psyche.
Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? I'm gonna cut this out probably because it's dead air. Oh my god, I can't find it now. I think she may have unmatched. And she unmatched. Okay. I have a screenshot of it somewhere, but
must be a good story then.
So I liked her, and then we had a nice conversation on the app, and then I said, like, do you want to hang out Wednesday? And then, which is a big deal for me. I very rarely even get to the point where I'm asking them to do something.
Yeah.
And then she said, no, I'm on concussion protocol. And I said, when do you get off concussion protocol? And then 6 months later, she just texted me at 11:28 p.m. and just said, now.
Oh.
And but I was like,
that's kind of hot.
No, it was hot.
Yeah.
But I was also kind of like, all right.
He said, this could have been said 6
sloppy seconds. So then I was like, okay, awesome. There's one problem. And she said, what? And I was like, I just got a concussion. and then I sent her some rap song. I can't remember, but it was like a rap song, basically being like showing her that she got punked. And then she just kept replying. And then I was like, I'm not attracted to you anymore.
You were running a bit on.
And then I found out she was Christian, and I was like, for that reason, I'm out.
Not for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not with the God-loving girls.
I was with a Christian, and
so
I had a pretty crazy night where I realized where my reality came crashing down. Where she was very obsessed with like what's the meaning of life and everything.
Okay.
And I kind of just wanted to be like, I mean, your religion should answer this. It's kind of like this is kind of like a sign that you're not really
I keep hearing about is
shouldn't
all
that book that none of you have really read
yeah.
answer this? But just SparkNote or something. But so then she sent me like this podcast that she was like, this helped me today, and it was this guy, this like preacher, and he was talking about what is the meaning of life, and of course. It's all you see the billboards that are like, "What is the meaning of life?" Like call like 1-800-Jesus or whatever, and it's not like people leave like, "Oh, I have the meaning now," you know, like because there is no answer.
Yeah, no one would have it.
So I watched this podcast, and he was basically like shitting on atheists and saying that like they don't have meaning because they have to like give themselves meaning. And in my view, it's like, well, that's way more noble.
And she was like, see?
Well, she wasn't even saying that. She was kind of just like, this guy's answering my concerns. But then after that, I was kind of like, I aired my grievances with the video. I was just a little annoyed. I was like, well, you know, he kind of like, he didn't answer the question. That bothered me a lot.
The whole point of that.
Second of all, from a science perspective, he did not test the hypothesis.
Yeah.
And then, second of all, like, he was just kind of saying a bunch of, you know, magical gobbledygook.
Yeah.
And then I sort of just, for the first time in our relationship, I was like, so, like, how old do you think the Earth is?
Oh, no.
And we were on the phone in my room, and she just was like, I don't know, not that old. And I was like, what do you mean, like 4 billion, 3 billion?
When was World War II?
Yeah. So then I was like, so do you think like 5,000 years or something? She was like, yeah, it's probably about right. And I was like, and then it just kept escalating. And I was like, do you believe like dinosaurs? Do you believe they existed? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, thank God. And then I was like, wait a second. Do you think we coexisted with dinosaurs? And she was like, of course. And I was like, fuck. You think we were just riding around on Triceratops?
Damn it, yeah.
God damn it.
Another day at work.
And I was sitting there having that conversation with her, sitting across from my bookshelf with like a dinosaur book, a book on evolution, like the dawn of man, like all this fucking science shit. And I was like, That's bad.
The
But
Land
then,
Before Time DVD.
yeah. So I don't want to go through that again.
Yeah.
And she broke up with me.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't really had too much dealings with like super Christian people.
You should do it once.
Yeah, I mean, because I think it doesn't stick out. Because I went in the Bay where I grew up. I didn't even think there was a church around us. It definitely wasn't like ingrained.
We hate God in the
they
Bay.
say, Hail Satan. We had a Satan 101
Clip
class.
it.
But it wasn't definitely like ingrained in the community and like in school where people come through these small towns. They're like, God is good. I'm just not used to that. So I haven't really dealt with like super Christian or even dating like Christian women.
Yeah.
I'd love to try it.
Well, the Midwest is the
They
place to
seem
do it, man.
fun. Listen.
I think the problem with the Midwest is that you can see too far in every direction, so
Yeah,
you
I
start
know,
to get
like,
existential.
they hold it back a little bit, but then they start revealing
Yeah,
what they think is evidence.
exactly.
Yeah.
You should seriously dip your toes into the pool.
I'd love to date every religion. I only know like 3 of them, so.
I'd like to date a Buddhist.
Yeah, do people... I don't think I've ever even met a Buddhist. Do they tell you?
I'm Buddhist.
Is it like the other religions?
No, I'm not.
Yeah. Have you read
Nihilist. You know the story of Buddha? Of the Buddha? The guy? The dude?
I read Meditation or something. There's
By
some
Marcus
book.
Aurelius?
No, there's
Oh.
a different one that's kind of about the Buddha. But go ahead.
I don't either. No. Well, it was this guy that just like went around the world seeking enlightenment.
Yeah.
That was his entire thing, and I think his whole I'm gonna butcher this so bad,
Yeah, of
but
course.
I think his whole probably yeah, his whole thing was like you just have to just let go and accept that there is nothing, and then that was it.
That makes sense.
So he
to
just
me.
like went on this huge fucking journey to be like I'm gonna find the answer. And then he came back from the journey, and he's like, "Nah, never really
Not
got
too good.
to it."
Hey, bad news, everyone.
So-
Gather round.
Yeah, but once again, I think the problem with religion is pretending you do have the answers.
Yeah, or like shaming anyone that
Has
doesn't
different-
agree with you.
Totally.
Well, they can prove like the Buddha was an actual person, right? Because
He's a guy,
yeah, then because it's not just like some mythical being.
trans, but he was a guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he had a dick, all right.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I think my mom's Buddha, but she doesn't.
I did not know where.
I think because because if someone is Buddhist, would they tell you? Is that something like? Would they be on their Hinge profile? Is
I mean,
that
if they're
even an
leading
option
with
on
it, yeah,
Hinge?
it is.
It actually is.
That is. It actually is.
I'm
You
gonna
can.
change.
I think you can.
I'm gonna change.
I'm gonna reform.
Buddhist, actually. I have to go to my monastery every Sunday.
Be funny if she's like, "Are you 6 foot?" And you're like, "Buddhist." Actually.
It's actually. None of it matters, so neither does my height, actually. Yeah, because I don't think I've ever met someone. You see, like a monk. I saw some monks going into a Mexican food place, which was interesting.
Whoa.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess that's the whole point.
Monks can have diarrhea.
Yeah.
I figured that they were above
Oh,
that.
they have the harshest diarrhea because they don't care. They just accept it.
Do you think that you could beat a monk in a staring contest?
Oh, I'd fuck him up. So hard. He has no chance.
His eyes
against
would
me.
just start burning like
yeah,
Indiana
he's a-
Jones.
This is what it is. I'm ready for death. Yeah, because I just don't. I've never even heard someone be like, "I'm actually I'm a Buddhist."
Yeah.
Actually, in the scriptures. But I guess that's the whole point. You don't really have to tell people about it.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be leading with it.
Yeah.
What should you lead with? What do you lead with?
Just in general, like.
Yeah. Do you have a line?
Oof. I used to.
Oh, yes. Here we go.
In college, I would take girls to Golfland.
Golfland, what's that?
It's like.
Is that like Topgolf?
It's like a mini golf place.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. And then I don't know why,
You
but that was
dated
like my move.
Never mind.
Say it. But that was like.
Midgets.
It's just regular golf for them. Is it? When midgets go to mini golf, they're like, "Wow, I don't have my driver."
I have a bet. One of
tiny
my
driver.
best friends, his little brother is a little person.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's a dwarf, and he was in like the little person like basketball Olympics.
There's a.
Yeah.
Is it televised?
Yeah,
Because
a
I
little
don't know why
teeny-
it's. Yeah, I don't
I'm
know why I'm
being
not
such an
seeing
asshole.
ads for this.
There is a funny story where like they
The
went-
hoops are lower.
No, they're regular hoops.
You're
I
lying.
swear.
You're lying to
They have
me.
trampolines, but
Okay, I know you're fucking
no, but they did like a news story on him, and they went to a park to like get a video of him shooting a 3. And it took him like 2 hours to make.
Just to walk.
So
to the
the
park.
family was
The
just
whole
like,
time was
"Fuck."
them walking into
I
the
know.
park. Like, geez, pick them up.
But you were saying golf, mini golf.
Yeah, I would just take him to mini golf all the time. We just have arcade, and it's like a game kind of thing. But usually, a compliment.
How many women did you bring through that?
10.
What?
That was like my move. I also like mini golfing, so if it didn't work out, I would just be like, I'm gonna play another round.
That's extremely.
You can head.
Did you
home.
ever do that?
No,
Okay.
but I would.
Yeah. I went on a first date. It was the girl who let
Broke
me be
your
a
heart.
free bird.
Oh, okay.
She was on the golf team, and I was like, I want to be in your environment
Yeah.
for the first date, so let's go golfing together. And I hadn't golfed. I'm serviceable for how little I play.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be really good one day. You mark my words.
You're practicing.
When comedy
Stand
takes
up in
off,
golf. Yeah.
when comedy takes off,
gonna
I'm
have
gonna
all the time in the
really
world.
fucking. I'm gonna be the comic where they're like, he could be so good if he didn't have his clubs with him on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be me. But so we went to like this super nice golf course, and I just sucked so bad at golf. Like off the tee, I just sliced like 2 into the highway.
Yeah, it's probably a really bad look from her perspective too, 'cause she's good at golf, right?
She was okay. So that's the thing is she wasn't as good as I
Oh,
thought she would be, and she was super nervous too, and I could tell.
Oh, right. That's
So she took out like her 3-wood and tried to hit it off the deck and like just put a huge divot into the
you
fairway.
fucking suck at
And I was
this.
like,
What was this
D3,
all
huh?
about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Community college golf team, huh? This is trying to make some sense.
I was like, I'll do the putting.
Yeah, that would be fair. Yeah, I joined a volleyball team when I first moved to Chicago, just to
Whoa.
meet people, 'cause like COVID and I didn't know anyone. And then I was just so bad at it. It was like embarrassing.
Because the bumping.
I don't know. It was like I'm athletic and I thought I could just pick it up. But like
Volleyball's pretty.
it would be like where
accessible.
the ball is in the air and I'm trying to hit it and it would go through my hands and hit me in the face and knock my hat off.
That's bad.
That happened multiple times.
That's
I was
very
like,
bad.
where am I? I've never been this guy. Like just goofy falling down. I was
And
like,
to those people, that's whoever. That's you forever.
yeah. They're like, this guy's.
They're
a
like, he's been like
klutz."
this forever.
Yeah, we have no respect for this fella. Yeah.
Did you just walk away?
No, we were in like the beginning group, and everyone else was really good, so we just smoked everyone else. But like they were like, just hang in the back. Just if it looks like it's going out of bounds,
Yeah.
try and judge it, and then maybe save it.
So you were like, I need to meet more people, but that was with comedy?
Well, I got here. I moved like 2 weeks before the pandemic, like
Great
March
timing.
3rd, 20. Like yeah,
For comedy?
you're telling me. Yeah, I was gonna do improv more, but then
You're
'cause of the
you're
pandemic.
solid on just stand up now, right?
yeah, I'm good with
Yeah, I'm
that.
not gonna do a podcast on improv.
Yeah, 'cause that would really drive down the subscribers. Yeah, I was gonna, and then I mean you couldn't, so you could only do stand up, and then but I didn't know anyone here, and then when the pandemic hit, like you couldn't really do stand up. There was like Donovan and Ryder did the
They had the
pickup
truck.
truck. Yeah, that was like the first mic I did in Chicago, but that was about it. Places would open for like a day, and then they would be like, we have to close, like I guess our requirements for being open. So it'd constantly be a lot of that, and so I met most people through comedy, but I was also like, it was like 6 months in, I was like, I don't know anyone. I gotta like just do something. I was planning on improv classes, but then I just had to like just get out there and try. And so I did flag football, I did volleyball, I did dodgeball.
There's dodgeball?
There's dodgeball.
Holy shit.
It sounds kind of cool, but it's kind of lame.
Gator skin or what?
Is that the
What kind of
on the
balls
ball?
are they? Rubber
They
or?
were foam.
Well, those are kind of nice. You can whip those.
But
was
the wind carries them, so I
Oh,
guess
it's
that's
outside?
the point. No, just like they're so foamy and light.
Oh,
that
they're
when
not.
you toss them, they.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, you can't really have accuracy. You just gotta wing
that
it.
Sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks a lot.
Yeah, we used to have a game in junior high where I forget what it was called, but there was like 3 balls, and there was no team, so it would be like 100 people in the auditorium, and you would just get a ball, and it was everyone against themselves.
That's so sick.
It was cool. It was really cool. I liked it a lot. I forget what it was called though. 'Cause then you would have 5 people and like we're not gonna get each other, and then when it got down to you 5, you'd
Hunger
have
Games,
to
yeah.
betray. Yeah, you had to betray your friends.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it
Et
was
tu, Brutus.
yeah. No. Gushing blood.
We weren't allowed to play dodgeball after like 3rd grade because there was a kid in New Jersey who killed himself because of dodgeball. I swear to God. And they passed a law.
It said dodgeball. It's like
It's illegal in
it was
the
like
state of New Jersey.
Footloose. He said no dodgeball in this town.
And we'd go out at dark.
We'd go and
after dark.
the
and,
abandoned
we'd get the
meatpacking
gator
factory.
skins. Yeah.
We said,
We'd put down the cardboard.
Be quiet, all right. The sheriff, he's gonna find us.
Do the headshots.
Yeah,
Cal.
do headshots. Yes, of course. Wow, that's weird.
Yeah.
No dodgeball.
But did you hook up with any people from the intramural sports teams? Because I feel like that's a lot of the reason that people do it.
No, I think that one. I think because they took it pretty seriously. If you do like kickball or like something that's casual, I feel like softball, you like drink on the field and stuff like that, and then people go out afterwards. They were just like, we're gonna win. We have to win, and then we go home.
I respect
It's
that.
very serious.
I respect that. I really do.
I was like, what about fucking guys? Winning,
Winning is fucking.
Can we do the same thing?
In a way.
We still got time. I ended this game early. Yeah, no, nothing like that.
That's like even scarier to me than going to an open mic without knowing people.
Yeah, joining a team sport. With
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, volleyball was fun. I like volleyball. Flag football kind of sucked because there's just too many guys, and then the other teams would be like guys that played like D1 college together.
Sucks.
Yeah, and then they just like whoop our asses, and like this isn't fun anymore. And then if you're good, you'll have like 2 good plays the entire game because it's like really a team sport. And I'm like, oh, this is just boring.
So you're barely touching the ball.
Yeah. I was like, oh, this actually sucks. This
Yeah,
is
unless
high
you're the
school.
QB.
This is high school. Yeah. I wanted to be the QB.
Dude, my entire life is
Could
wanting
never
to be the
QB.
QB and just knowing I'm not that guy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
It's like an allegory for my
we
life.
all know who that guy
Yeah.
is, and
It's the
he's
guy
been that
spinning
his
the ball
whole
on his
life.
finger. Yeah. This guy's had it all.
Yeah, he's wearing a polo.
And I just want to be like, I have an arm. I could
Bet you
launch
played. I mean, lacrosse.
it. Mm.
Who's the quarterback of the lacrosse team?
It's the goalie.
Oh, is it really?
No.
Okay, that's
it's definitely like the
The
attack.
goalie is never the leader. It
No.
feels like.
Well, it's very separated in like defense and offense.
Okay.
And
It's like soccer, where there's like defenders and strikers, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in soccer and lacrosse, like we have attackmen in lacrosse, they can only stay on the offensive side of the field.
Mm-hmm.
And like me and the 3 long poles, the defenders, we can only stay on our side unless a midi comes back, and then we can go over.
Yeah, and you switch a little.
And the middies can go on the entire
but you
field.
can't go on offense. You wouldn't.
I can if they come back.
Oh.
Yeah, if they like stay back, so there's the same number of people on the field.
Is your pole
on that
actually
side.
longer for defense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're 6 feet long.
Oh, whoa.
Mhm. Sam played LSM, which is that's a midi with a 6-foot pole.
He played like in college, or what did he?
No, he played in high school. We're talking about you playing LSM. Yeah.
Whoa, there it is.
But
They let black people play lacrosse? That's cool.
dude, every team's got one black kid. So then he was
passed his
he passed
pole
the black
down to
torch.
you.
One time, some guy said something to me while we were playing, and like before he even do anything about it, the other black guy had like fully trucked.
Oh fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's interesting with lacrosse because like the 2 groups that I feared the most were Canadians and natives. If you ever were playing a team that had like a native, like a Native American?
Okay.
you're like, this is scary.
Why they?
Because
they have him.
it felt like when they were shooting on you, they were like, I'm taking back my homeland.
There was a social cause.
Yeah.
behind
It's like they were.
it. Wow.
It's the same motion as throwing a tomahawk. Yeah, I was with that joke. I'm trying to think of a comparison that I could do. Like,
Maybe where did cricket start?
so my first thought was taking basketball from black people, but too many whiteys are getting good at basketball.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say it would
The
be like
Serbs.
it would be like if after the Holocaust only German people complained, but I feel like that's a little too. Yeah, probably can't get away with that.
No, that's a good comparison though. Yeah, I don't know.
Thank you.
Where's cricket started? Was that because a lot of Indian people play cricket, but I think it started in Britain.
I was
But I
gonna
don't think
say
it's from India.
no. I think I think it's British.
So
probably.
they actually.
I was gonna say it's like a.
Nah. No, we can't have that.
Mbappe. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa. I've always wanted to. It's like it's weird because with being white, I don't really value it that much. So I've never met a white guy and be like, he's not really white.
He's not
You
white.
know?
I mean, I bet you could find one who's say stuff like that. Yeah, I don't have a culture. It'd be weird.
Oh, I have culture.
I don't.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I think that's interesting to like have your mom cooked a dish from her land.
Chicken breast with balsamic
Yeah,
vinegar.
it was hot dogs with mac and cheese on it. Yeah, No,
I mean, having a culture seems like a lot of stress.
you think so? To
Seems like a lot of
uphold your
responsibility
values
to
and your
have.
traditions.
When I'm doing stand up, I'm not thinking I have an entire race of people that I have to represent.
On
you
my
know?
goddamn shoulders.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I can say whatever I want because I'm
'Cause I
already
can get away with it.
in the best group.
Yeah.
I was thinking about something with that. Oh fuck. Oh, I was trying to. This is just a premise, but basically the premise is I don't like underdogs in sports or movies 'cause I can't relate to them. 'Cause I've like
Never been an underdog.
I'm not an underdog. My entire life has just been blowing the
Just
lead.
winning.
Isn't blowing a lead way more relatable
Yeah,
than
it
like I've
really
never
is.
rescued
I've had
anything?
all the advantages and I drop them every time.
Exactly. I'm
Yeah.
a 6-foot white guy with a symmetrical face, and I haven't had sex in over 400 days.
Yeah, you.
I'm
Really
not an
You're
underdog.
dropping it hard.
Yeah, I'm just dropping the ball.
You're the villain. You're just the villain in every movie.
Yeah.
That's like.
And also, I've been on sports teams where like we've blown horrendous leads, and the psychology of that locker room is way more fascinating than like the winners. The winners, you know, they're like, "We did it!"
Yeah, after the game,
you go to
they're
the other
like-
locker room, it's just a bunch of guys sitting there like, "Oh
They're like,
my
"Whose fault
god!"
is
Yeah,
this?"
just everyone turning on each other, like just going at each other's
You
throats.
should have passed me the ball.
Yeah, show me that locker room.
That's true.
The
It's much
losers locker,
different.
like, and when you're in a game and you're shitting the bed and the other team is coming back and the crowd's on their side, you have way more pressure
Yeah.
than they do.
I had this thing recently where it was like Tom Brady or just like everyone who's really the superstar of their sport after they win the Super Bowl or like the NBA championship, the World Series, they always feel really bad. I think Louis was talking about this. Of like, they always feel, or they're not like, yes, finally, we did it. They may do that like immediately afterwards, but then afterwards it was like, fuck, that was really hard. That took a lot out of me. Like every single time after every Super Bowl, he's like, fuck, that was so fucking hard.
And then he just does it again.
Yeah, and he's like, well, might as well.
Tom Brady was an underdog.
Yeah, it's true. It was
Sixth
seventh
round.
round.
199th overall.
Yeah, have you seen him run the 40-yard dash?
Dude, I'm the biggest Tom Brady fan that you'll meet.
Yeah, I mean, he's great.
I love him.
Just like
He's like my
anything.
idol.
Yeah, just like anyone who's the goat of their sport, people are gonna hate him because they smashed their team for years and years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have Tom Brady's draft report. I wrote it down and I wrote it down in 3rd grade. I have it on paper
Wow.
in my apartment right
That's
now.
quite impressive.
It's like could not throw a tight spiral, could not drive ball downfield.
Oh, shit.
All that
That's
stuff.
actually pretty inspirational to just have it. Do you look at it when you feel down?
I
you
haven't looked
go.
at it. I haven't polished it off in a while.
Yeah.
But I used to look at it a lot through like tear-filled eyes because there's just like
It's in a case and you see your reflection
Yeah.
in the case. You're like, I can't.
yeah, exactly. Like Mr. Incredible putting his suit on.
Yeah.
I mean, I did really identify with it a lot because I was a little lanky kid, string bean kid, and I just had nothing remarkable about me, especially athletically.
Okay.
It's way easier to relate to it athletically instead with like comedy. It's hard to think like I'm an underdog with comedy.
Yeah.
Same with because we're just like comedy is technically harder for us because we're white guys because there are just so many of us, so it's
Yeah.
just like oversaturated.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you can't really look at somebody and be like, they're not a born stand-up.
Yeah,
know?
I feel like because everyone starts at the same level. Where like sports, you
can
can
be
get
a natural.
drafted, or you can go to like a private school that
Yeah.
trains you. Or like comedy, everyone kind of starts in the shit.
Nobody's ever like, they took a Second City class. They're gonna be so good.
Oh my god, he has all the tools that I could not afford.
Not only that, but whenever I see people at Mike's, who it's like an entire class from Second City,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, this is our first time" or whatever. I'm always like, "You fucking dorks." Even though, like, if I had the money, I probably
yeah, actually.
definitely done that. But
yeah.
but I thought like I owed it to myself to just dive in, because it's
Yeah.
sort of this intangible like being funny. Like, how do you teach being funny? Obviously, there's like formula and
I think at the very beginning, and probably
Principles.
more of it is just giving you the confidence to actually go out and do it. But it is, I didn't realize that you could get a degree in comedy
at
what is it?
DePaul.
At DePaul, or like what's the other one? The other
There's
college, the
another
big college,
big. In Chi-
Columbia.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that college? Yeah, you can get it in comedy.
I
It's
mean,
just
that's
so
got to
funny.
be the most.
I would make my son kill himself if he picked comedy. as a
Yeah, you
major.
fucking
I was
clown.
like, you'd be better dead.
What were you gonna say
How
about it?
that? Just that you don't ever see any of those kids at the open mics. Just
Yeah, no.
like one or two, but there's a bunch of them taking it, but
I
they
see
don't
a lot of
come
comedy
out
majors.
to the actual. And I think someone actually explained it to me of like, oh, they're studying to write for late night and stuff like that. But I'm like, they
Well,
still should, cut their teeth in the trenches.
Also, comedy is so broad. You could be good at, like, Will Ferrell is not good at stand up, but he's still one of the funniest humans ever.
Yeah.
Same with like Conan O'Brien. He was my idol growing up.
Yeah, but they all got like Will Ferrell was the Groundlings, wasn't he? Isn't that
Mhm.
when he came from? Yeah.
Yeah.
You just got on stage 'cause like how do you know if you're just writing comedy but you don't see audience really reaction to it?
Yeah.
You can't know what's funny and get better.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I'm currently trying to. I've been working on a screenplay for a while, and I'm gonna be trying to pitch it soon. And my professor who's looked over it like really thinks there could be something in there.
Oh.
But then part of me is like, what if I'm just better at writing than being a stand-up comedian? Like it would
If
actually.
It's really good with that break
It would
your
make me,
heart
which is
little
such
bit.
what if I'm really good at this? but
No.
it would suck to just
Why,
to
God?
to realize like, because the thing I want to be great at more than anything is stand up
Yeah.
and being a father and lover. But
All number one.
more than
is-
anything, it's stand up.
Tight.
It would kind of be a little devastating to be like, no, you're just a behind the scenes guy.
Yeah.
You're just gonna
There's
write
this
for
other
other
thing
people.
that you care less about that you're really good at.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's hard.
You want the thing that you're good at to be the thing you give a shit about. You don't want to be Nick Curios.
What's the gist of the screenplay? Are you allowed to reveal?
Can I tell it to you? It's gonna
It's
take
up to you.
It's gonna.
So
It's
you
a
don't
lot.
have to read me the whole thing, but
All right.
that's good.
It opens with you just see. It's just a golf course at night. It's like It's like Augusta or whatever, like a super nice course. You just see like one figure like swim to shore and collapse, and dive equipment, and then you see another figure come, and then they just fight to the death. And you're just like the POV of like an owl in a tree,
Oh, wow.
just watching two figures fight.
Mm.
You don't know who's who. You don't know what's what. And then you see one like stab the other one, kill them, and then walk onto the fairway, look up at the full moon, and for just a moment, it looks like a golf ball.
Whoa.
And then smash cut to Seb hitting the driver. His ball goes in the water. The entire story starts.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. But it's going to get pretty rowdy. It's called Operation Albatross.
Operation Albatross. That's good. I've never heard of that. That's like such a topic that I didn't even know.
It's got
There was such
sports
an
betting,
underworld. Yeah.
autism. He's autistic as fuck.
Whoa.
Those are super in right now.
Yeah.
People don't have passions.
Mm.
That's in.
That's in.
Being lost in life.
Yeah.
Golf.
Golf.
Super in.
Huge.
Huge.
It's in the Olympics. Is golf in the Olympics?
Mhm. The American boy just won.
The American boy. The American boy.
The American boy came from
6-year-old just
behind.
walking
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
He's a boy and he's from America.
Yeah.
He's
So
the
do you
greatest
think
guy.
that's gonna do really well?
Yeah.
Think it's gonna get a Netflix deal?
Yeah, I'll put $5 into it.
$5?
Yeah. Isn't that it should cover the cost of the whole movie?
That should
probably?
cover pre-production.
Yeah. Those are some of the snacks. That
Have
should
you
be on
ever considered the like writing or like screenplays, movies, TV
there. Me and my buddy in high school. That's kind of like what before
with the Razor?
With the razor.
Oh, the Razor phone.
Yeah, I mean a little bit. That was like when we were kids. When we were in high school, we were like, yeah, we're gonna like write movie. We loved like Superbad. So like Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, they had wrote Superbad when they were in high school and then got it made, 10 years later. And we were like, oh, we could totally do that. It was like the outline of like, oh, we can totally. And we made some, terrible video. We had one video that I still think is funny. It was a guy who went to suicide camp, but the counselors kept killing themselves. It was a camp where you learn how to commit suicide,
Oh, that's
but
kinda
you never
funny.
learn how to kill yourself because the counselors
Because they keep killing
themselves.
themselves. It's like catch-22.
Yeah. So I was like, that's pretty funny. So that was kind of the beginning of that. But I mean, like, once I did stand up, I kind of like the immediate gratification of
Oh
like
my
a joke
God, it's so
working,
good.
and then being on stage. I'm scared because I'm so scared of it. I like that constant like facing my fear,
Mhm.
and then just I feel like it's so much work to just get a movie made. Even like you could, I mean.
I mean, that's the thing is, I know it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you could totally if you just.
And there's
hang
a
on to
million
it and-
gatekeepers, and you need so much money.
Yeah. But I mean, nowadays the gatekeepers are changing. It's just a
Not
completely
for
different
not
world.
for film though.
I think
For
so
that
still.
stuff, I mean, it's you still need a shitload of.
You could film it on an iPhone. You ever watch Tangerine?
That takes like talent though. I don't have any of that. That's this. That
I've seen your iPhone.
the problem is there's a dearth of talent.
Yeah. With good iPhones.
Yeah,
That's
I
how
have
they're
I have a Google Pixel, so it'd probably be even better.
Oh yikes! No, you can't do it with the Google Pixel.
What was I gonna say? Oh, stand up is so nice because it's just you. Like the entire thing is you. I thought of this. I wrote this. I did this.
Yeah.
Live by the sword, die by the sword.
And then you can kind of just represent yourself. Like even getting on shows and stuff, you don't have to worry about other people showing up to practice or what have you. You're like, oh, as far as I go is I'm almost completely up to me. I mean, there is gatekeepers and stuff, but it's about you and your drive.
Yeah, totally. And it's like any success that I have, I can kind of be like, I did that.
Mm.
And then failures, I can be like, somebody else is probably responsible for that.
Someone somewhere has a
the
tiny
failures are
has
probably
a tiny voodoo doll
Yeah.
that's making me fail.
they're making me hump the stool.
I can't believe it. Yeah.
Those fucking
That's
assholes.
a good bit. That's such a good bit. What's your goal for stand up? What would make you happy?
Pass at the cellar.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, yeah.
I'm a greedy little boy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I mean, the thing is like, I mean, my goal is to make a living. If I
Yeah.
made 20K off stand up, I'd be like, okay. But then I also know as soon as I get to the point, which I think I can make I think I can make 20K a year off stand up in
so,
10
yeah.
years. 'Cause I've seen people that have done that and I've been like, all right. So,
I mean, there's some like Chicago like old heads who have been here a while and they just do like that and odd jobs here and there. But
Yeah.
they seem like that's like a doable living.
yeah. But I think that if I did get to that point, I wouldn't be satisfied.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, cellar's the dream.
Yeah, I can't blame
It's the greatest club in the world
you. So you're planning on moving to New York at some point?
in about a year.
Really?
Yeah, with Sam.
Setting plans? Oh, Sam's going too?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Yeah, like a bunch. There was a big group that just moved. And then a bunch
Everyone's
moved to Austin.
moving, dude.
That like Austin and New York are the new different places. That's so crazy 'cause like since I've been here, there hasn't really been like comics that I came up with that moved, but it seems like it's starting to now that the pandemic's over
Yeah.
and things are like relatively back to normal. People are making the move. It's gonna be.
I've talked to a bunch of comics who all have told me that like within a year or two they're gonna leave
really
for either Austin or New York, and I haven't heard a single person say LA.
more spots for your boy. I hear the LA scene is terrible.
So you're hunkering down. Yeah, I've heard it's really bad.
Yeah.
You're hunkering down in Chicago.
I've been thinking about moving, but I don't think I'd go to New York or LA. I'd go to like maybe a smaller scene,
Why?
just hang out.
What's your goal in comedy? For
Uh,
comedy.
I don't ever think I'd do it full time, or I'd get enough. I just don't
Son
want
of a
to.
bitch.
I just don't want to like live right above the poverty line, but still do comedy.
It's your dream.
I'd love to live at least.
Do you
a
not believe
little
in
bit
yourself?
comfortably.
I believe in you, Aaron.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
I've read your posts. You don't. Your comments on my videos.
You found my blogs.
Yeah. They used to comment on my clips saying, "Hey, Harry here,
Sam,
kill yourself."
do you believe in Aaron? Oh man. All right.
I told you. I said Sam.
Go to bed, dude.
I told you Sam would say that. You know what he means.
Comedically.
Like, do I believe in him?
Yeah.
I thought you meant like, is he lying about
Oh. Well, I mean, I said in.
Don't ask Sam about that. I lie constantly. I actually do. I like people I've dated. They're like, I can't tell if you're being serious, and sometimes I can't either. Because you just like, because I'm also like monotone and sarcastic all the time. Like I think I do lie about stuff, but I'm not even realizing that
Yeah.
I'm lying.
Sometimes I'll be like, just talking to people, and then like, you know, when you kind of say something that you're unsure of, and they're like, that's so dumb, you have to be kidding. And then you're like, yeah, I think. You don't know.
Yeah, I've had that.
maybe sometimes.
Yeah. They're like, do you really believe what you just said? And you'll be like, part of it.
Yeah. I haven't decided yet. I'll figure it out in time, probably.
I remember I saw a pigeon on top of a building once, and I forgot that they could fly. So I was like, yo,
So Sam's retarded.
That's not even lying. Yeah, you're just a dipshit.
dude. And they were like, be mean.
What are they gonna do? I guess girls would like that because he cares. He's just retarded.
How did the pigeon even get up there?
Yeah.
Who helped him?
I'm just more impressed than anything.
Yeah, that was.
And then in the conversation, the pigeon
Were you like,
Yeah, you guys know about this?
Yeah, and then I was like, I think I just forgot that they could fly because they always walk. So I was
that's true. They're always bobbing.
That's fair. But I mean, you didn't think they could actually, like, they're a small enough bird. Like, penguins can't fly, but they look like they can't fly.
yeah, I just saw it on the edge of the building. I was like,
He's gonna jump.
Yeah,
He's gonna end it.
jump, do it.
I was like, no.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I do believe in that.
I
It
also
was a
believe.
long-winded answer to get there, but
He said he believed in you a while back before
he
the
doesn't.
flightless
He
bird
doesn't
thing.
believe in pigeons, but
He doesn't.
but
We're gonna
me-
listen to that guy.
Yeah. It was,
I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure pigeons can fly, but I think that you're gonna do great
What the hell are
things.
those things?
Why don't you believe in yourself?
I just don't know if that's what I've wanted, 'cause like I've seen comics who do it full time, and then like that thing where like, oh, they live paycheck to paycheck
Mm.
and they're always worried. And then I don't even know if I would like being a road dog, really. I mean, it'd be cool if I could like be the guy for the weekend and then just go back to my regular job, which I don't hate. Like, I'd be comfortable with that.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm willing to do all the steps that it takes to be the headliner.
Yeah,
I think I've accepted that about myself.
dude. It's unfortunate. I just don't have anything else that I like that much.
Yeah, I get
That's
that
like
too.
that makes money. I mean, like if someone was paying me to snowboard all day, I'd be like, sign me up.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
dude,
Like
yeah.
everything that I love doing I can't translate to money.
Yeah, or do you have to focus on that? You can't do all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd have to become a professional.
Stand up
athlete.
is like the only thing that I could like feasibly. I say feasible. It's like so unrealistic, but like that I could like feasibly like make profitable off of something I'm passionate about.
I think it is doable if you stick with it. That's just the whole thing of just doing
You
it
just have to
forever.
keep working super hard. Yeah.
'Cause like, it's so easy. I mean, even the Chicago scene, there's a bunch of people that like get really hot for a year or two, and then they just completely drop off. 'Cause
Ugh.
like they were given a bunch of shows, and they're like, this is awesome.
And they didn't.
And then it either stopped rolling in. They were like, actually, stand up kind of sucks and it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's so many funny people out there. So many funny people.
Yeah. With just different circumstances and
Well, that's kind of why I'm hoping this podcast really explodes.
really just takes
Hey,
off.
In 10 years when we're on my 1000th episode.
Yeah.
Oh, I probably just fucked that at math.
And on the
something-
same couch.
Same count. Do you want to in 10 years do a
Yeah, if you want.
anniversary
I'll
ep?
just give it to you.
I just think that you just gotta, cause I don't want to really like put out material, cause I'm not good and I don't have stuff to put out.
Okay.
But I can shit out a podcast. You know what I'm saying? And I know every single person has a podcast, but I don't know. It's worth a shot.
Yeah, but that's also like the same thing with stand up. If you just stick with the podcast, like in 10 years, it
Yeah.
might.
It's also exploding right now.
Yeah.
And I enjoy doing it because it's just talking to people I like talking to.
Just gotta
So
put a microphone in front
yeah,
of your
it's
face.
literally just an excuse to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And
it's nice little.
a lot of people don't really just have conversations anymore.
Not typically, no.
Like it's literally just a scheduled talk
Yeah.
for the purpose of having a talk.
Yeah, and also just getting to like interesting and talking about yourself, because just being at Mike's, you have so much small talk. I've gotten so good at like small talk of like,
I hate it.
do you have shows upcoming that you're saying? And then as soon as I ask it, I'm like,
Yeah.
they don't care and I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
Or we could just do that, or just sit in silence until the mic starts in an hour and
That's
a half.
even
Yeah,
worse.
is that, there's no right answer.
Have you been able to tell that I'm bad at small talk?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we've
Whoa.
had some
Been pulling my own?
yeah, you've been lifting all the way.
Dude,
on
I
your
still
shoulders.
can't answer how you doing. Like
Oh, really?
every single time someone's like, "What's up?"
you
or
just
"How
don't
you doing?"
know
I'm
what
just
to
like,
say, or you don't.
because I think about how it's really going. You know, and then I'm
And
just
if
like,
I-
I can't say that.
they don't want that answer.
I know.
They
Dude, 'cause
wanna
my
hear just
dad-
chilling.
Used to, he was like super emotional and vocal about the whole like my mom divorcing him, and his life was literally falling apart, and he knew it was falling apart.
Yeah.
But the problem is that people don't give a shit if your life's falling apart if they don't know you. And then if they do know you and you keep telling them that it's falling apart, they're not going to give a shit eventually.
They're just gonna.
But we'd be at a bank and the teller would be like, "How's your day, sir?" And he'd be like, "My wife of 25 years told me she didn't love me." And then me and my twin brother would be like, you know,
yeah.
that's tough, but
deposit. Just
please,
deposit.
there's a
please.
line behind you.
Yeah.
Grab a lollipop for us. Let's get the fuck
Wow,
out of here.
That's almost commendable, just to be honest. Instead of
No, it's not.
Louis
You're
has
burdening.
a bit. Do you know Louis' bit with the guy? There's like a guy he lives with in the elevator, and he's like, "What if I was just honest with him of like the small talk of like, so how's your day going?" And he's like, "I haven't talked to my father in 10 years." It's like, what if you were just honest? and just said the thing instead of like, how? Well, it's getting real rainy recently.
I know.
Yeah.
I think the world would be a cooler place. I'll do that with strangers. Dude, yesterday or last night, I got tricked. I basically got reverse ambushed into hanging out with my friends, my college friends, and it was like this one of their apartments, but there were a bunch of people that I didn't know, so I was super uncomfortable. And then I took a dab, and then
Made it worse.
it's just gotten to the point where I'm so much more comfortable around comics than normal people, and I'm starting to see the rift, and 'cause you just can't say whatever you want.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm
even with
still
your college buddies.
no, with my buddies I'm fine, but with
Oh,
the
yeah,
random
just people you don't
ancillary
know, yeah.
people,
Stuff is taken out of context and they don't know you.
and then also it was sort of a weird, awkward dynamic just amongst them. But we went to Emporium, and I literally I can't go into a bar or a crowded place. I just shut down. I completely shut down. I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
do it because there's no. If I'm doing stand up, it's like I know I'm here. I'm here to do stand up. If I'm at a bar or something, it's so open ended, and it just freaks me out so much that I can't deal with it.
You feel like you're wasting time, or there's just no
There's no there's no
purpose.
straight objective.
Yeah.
Like if it was like we're going to play basketball, I'd be like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
I'm going to
and
go
it
play
gives you
basketball.
something to talk about, like, oh, this thing.
But it's like you walk in, it's like, all right, everybody do their own thing. Find someone to talk to, fucking go do it again.
Yeah.
So I literally just ended up, I just got 2 ciders and I sat down, and thank God I had my notebook with me, and I just wrote the entire time.
That's actually.
And I overheard these 3 girls. They came. I looked like such a fucking loser. And I literally was thinking, I literally wrote in my notebook, like, why can't I be normal?
Yeah.
Because it does frustrate me a lot. Like, why can't I just be over there with everybody else? But I have to fucking be a stupid, dumb freak. I don't know. But, and then it's like, could I just do that? Am I just being a fucking pussy? Why am I just, but anyway. So I was sitting there and I was just writing on my notebook, and there were these 3 girls standing right by the entrance. And I overheard them. I was eavesdropping, David Sedaris.
Yeah.
And, and one of them was like, yeah, I just don't really know what to do. And then the other like looked at her and she was like, oh, all you have to do is not be that guy. And then I looked up from my notebook and we made eye contact, and then she like turned her head like that, and I was like, fuck. But then, so I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here. I didn't even find my friends. I was just like, I'm getting the fuck out.
Yeah.
And then I walked down the street. It was on Milwaukee, Emporium. It was on Milwaukee, and I was like, I'm going to get a peanut M&Ms to make myself feel better.
That sound good.
So I went to it. It's so good, dude.
Yeah.
I got a share size. So I was feeling a little,
Yeah,
a little
risky,
gluttony. Yeah, a little gluttonous. So I went, got my M&Ms, and I was walking out of the 7-Eleven door, and if I can hold the door for somebody, I will absolutely do it 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
But I misjudged whether this couple was walking into the 7-Eleven or taking a turn on the sidewalk, and so I let the door close, and then they sort of they course corrected to the 7-Eleven. And I was also super drunk and high, and I just turned to them as they had to open the door, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I would have held the door. And the guy turns to me, and he just goes, be mean. Be meaner. Be a meaner person.
He's honest. He's so honest.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Wow, you run
But
in.
I appreciated him being like, be mean.
Yeah. He saw
You're
it.
too nice.
Yeah. He's probably trying to help you out.
Yeah, he
you
was.
run into quite a bit of honest situations in your life where people just tell you.
I really just bring that out of them.
I mean, I think that's a good thing because, like in college, I didn't drink in college, and I always got FOMO because all my friends would like go out and go to bars and clubs, and I was doing a lot of improv and like some stand up and too, and I knew that was what I wanted to do. I knew it was the right thing, but I couldn't help get that feeling of like, oh, I'm missing out. Why can't I be like them?
Totally.
This is how you meet girls. I'm missing out on memories. But now later, I'm like, oh, I don't enjoy doing any of it. I didn't enjoy doing any of that stuff, and then it helped me get to where I am right now. Like I was doing the right thing, even though in the moment I second guessed myself all the time.
Yeah, you worked on yourself.
Yeah. So just trust it.
And you did what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Which is a gift. Most people don't know what they want to do.
Yeah, 100%. So many people are lost, and that's why I just have friends that are in finance, and like now they're into golf.
Not all those who wander. Wait, not
are
all.
lost, okay. It's just so funny
and then
when
they pick up working out or golf. Or
yeah,
whatever.
just like something. It's just so funny they all have like the same jobs, and then they don't really have like a passion. That's why comedy is nice, even though I don't think I'll do it full time. It just gave me a direction to go.
100%. Yeah, and it's something I'm working toward every single day, and it's not this thing that you can finish.
No.
It's this puzzle that you're never gonna fucking get to.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things I love and hate about it. But I still definitely get a ton of FOMO. which doesn't make sense because I was in the scenario where I could have entered myself into the octagon,
Yeah.
and then I was just like, I hate this so much, I can't do this. And then I was like, but what if my wife's here? And then I thought, but my wife would never be here.
Yeah, I don't like whores.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there is something to be said for that, of like pushing yourself into situations that make you uncomfortable. But also knowing yourself. So I think eventually you find a balance of it, of like, oh, I don't need this, isn't necessary for me. And then other times we're like, oh, this could benefit me, so why don't I just push myself a little bit and see what happens.
Stand up is already very, very, very uncomfortable socially. Because every single night, whether you like it or not, you're going to have a conversation with somebody who you've never talked to before. And a lot of the times, those people are the most batshit insane people you've ever met in your life.
Yeah, a couple of wackos. Do you feel like you've gotten better at it? I feel like I'm really good at small talk now. I don't think I was very good at it before.
Again, I just can't really do small talk.
Yeah, I mean, it's small talk, but I guess maybe small talk isn't right, because small talk feels fake. It's just like filler for actual conversation. Do you feel like you can make friends easier, even connect with people better?
I think I'm pretty good at connecting with people, but I'm very bad at hiding when I don't want to connect with somebody.
Okay, that is a different skill. Yeah.
And I've run into a lot of weird scenarios where there are people that want to connect with me and I don't want to connect with them. The camera's not even on anymore, but the audio's still going, so I will bleep that.
Yeah,
Which means
I
I'll have to
understand.
scrub through the audio.
Sorry.
But no, yeah, she really wants to be my friend.
Yeah, I can tell.
But
she's
yeah, I've sort of encountered that in life, but now with stand up, and this sounds like, oh, I have like too many friends. That's obviously not the case. It's just like you can't like everybody, and I feel like there's an expectation that you have to like everybody. I'll be nice to everybody, but there's no reason I should have to like hang out with everybody that I talk to, because if I don't want to, why would I?
Yeah, and then you learn you can only have so many close friends. I mean,
yeah, 100%.
Literally, like you can't hold more.
Yeah.
And be still intimate and close with them.
Yeah, because then you get like diminishing returns, and it's also like I've never been one of those people that like has to go out of their way or wants to go out of their way to be like, I need more friends. It just sort of happens. So then you meet people that are like, you can tell they're trying to make friends, and it's sort of, this sounds so mean.
Oh, God.
Sounds so mean.
You need to be more mean, don't you?
Yeah, you're right.
Good.
Well, I present as nice, but then when I start really running my mouth socially, you find out how much of a huge asshole I am.
I think that's how we all are.
Nah, you're a nice guy. What's the most mean thing that you think?
That I think, like I thought.
Yeah, like about Chicago comedy, something that like a criticism that you have as a whole, or
Oh boy. I mean, I guess we got comedy in general. I mean, like you know, there's some people that you're like, really, this guy's getting all the, and then you just hear stuff about people. I mean, like comics, they just have such big egos. It just blows my mind. Sometimes I'll hear a story, I'm like, they said that. Of some person being like, they bumped me. This person is getting spots and I'm not. It's just like ego blows my mind, because like I definitely have an ego, but to such an extent where you're like, I deserve all the spots.
yeah,
No one else does. I can't believe this. This is bullshit. There's just like, you meet such an array of people doing comedy, and then just some people who have no self-awareness whatsoever.
That's
like
the thing
how
that
they
blows
come
my
off,
mind
yeah.
so much.
It's crazy. They just and I almost feel bad for
You
them.
do stand up
Because they could like never see how they're acting and how they look to other people.
I know.
Yeah.
And their entire job is to perform and
Try
act and
to
look,
be, likable,
and like point out. Oh my God, I love when people who are unlikable talk about unlikable people on stage and they're bombing.
And you're thinking, you son of a.
And I'm thinking, this is so meta.
You just have no idea. He's in the Matrix right now. He doesn't even know it.
Yeah, really.
Let's keep it.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I mean, there's literally no video now, so it's just that's
right.
fine.
We don't need video.
I wonder if I'll ever grow bitter. You know?
Just from like doing stand-up so long, about stand-up specifically.
I guess. It's
Yeah.
like stand-up is like the only thing I really care about.
Yeah.
which is sad.
It's not sad.
Also, I like let on too much about that with the girl I was talking to, and she was like, "I've never met anybody that cares about one thing as much as you do." And the way she said it was not like admirable. It was like
Yeah, it sounds
you're
like a compliment,
very
but
obsessed
she
with
sounds
this
worried about
thing.
it. Well, then she doesn't have any passions, and that's sad for her.
Well, her whole thing was she was searching for a passion.
And you found yours, so she was probably jealous.
My passion was her, Aaron. No.
And then she let me
Stand
down.
up. Dude, I had a girl ask me one time. She was like, if you had to choose between, this is before I did stand up. She was like, if you had to choose between stand up or me, what would you choose? I was like, stand up.
Before you
Obviously,
had even done it?
yeah.
So I'm gonna start it soon, but
I'm going to be
it
really
would
good.
still be stand up. I haven't started it yet. I don't really know what it's like yet.
Yeah. I truly like, I don't, I, like when you say like think about quitting, I'll like, I never like think about quitting in the way that like I contemplate the possibility of quitting, but I'll just think about it as a concept and just be like, I don't know what I would do. I seriously, I don't have any skills or real world things that I could do.
Yeah.
I have zero idea what I'd do without stand up.
Yeah.
I graduated college and I was like, I'm gonna do stand up. And then people always fucking people that are, it's actually blows my mind how many people are like, what are you gonna do when stand up doesn't work out, or if it doesn't work out? Because you don't do that with other stuff. You don't like, nobody's like, I'm gonna start my own like small business. Like, what about when it
once
fails?
that
Yeah,
fails,
you know, because we are sort of like our
But
own
after
entrepreneurs.
bankruptcy, what? happens
Yeah,
after
exactly.
that?
Following the disintegration of everything you
Yes,
love.
Tell me
and,
the next step.
but so many, I've had a lot of people that have been like, well, what would you do if stand up doesn't work out? And I just have to be like, I don't know.
Yeah, die. Probably,
Yeah, exactly.
Quickly after that.
Just move to Europe and just backpack for the rest of my life.
That doesn't sound too bad.
Honestly, probably.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding, dude. It's like
And just see which way the wind blows.
I made a deal with one of my friends while we were in Europe. I said, if I don't break even in comedy in 10 years, I'm going to move to Europe. And we shook on it.
That's not a bad plan.
No.
Not bad at all.
But I'd also just be like backpacking around Europe and being like, you know who hates gaslighting? Thomas Edison.
You guys eat pussy? El pussy?
I can almost make women come.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that'd be cool for like a year, and then you're like, well, I'm out of money. Now I'm just a homeless person in Europe. That's what
I'm just
they were
fashionably
all
homeless.
backpackers at first.
Yeah, and then
They
they
were
lose their
living They were
backpack.
living in the wind, and they found a box, and they were like, I can probably sleep in here.
At least the homeless people in Europe are like crafty about it. They'll
Are
like
they
they'll like
crafty? I
put
don't-
their cup out so you run into it and knock it
And
over.
they
And
go,
then
oh, hey.
my friend fell for that,
Oh, really?
and he fucking punted that shit. 'Cause he's a big goofy goober. Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, the thing flew, and then he was like, "I feel so bad." And then my other friend was like, "No, it's a trick."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, it
This is
is."
a gypsy magic.
But you also have to pay him at that point.
Yeah,
You
I
knock
guess
over
so.
his cup of change.
Do they take dollars, or they only take European dollars?
That'd be fucked up. But they're like, "I need you to
Yeah.
go to the machine."
The exchange, actually.
They pickpocket a lot. I'd be a pickpocket. That's what my move would be.
That'd be a cool skill to learn.
Because
I feel like
well,
nimble fingers and very,
I did magic.
Did you actually?
Mhm.
Wow.
I used to go home every single before comedy.
Before my
I
first
always
passion,
loved.
actually.
I
I
always
talk about my first.
I learned performance. That's
Yeah.
Steve Martin.
Oh yeah, it's actually true. Yeah. They do go hand in hand. There's
If you hand me a deck of cards, I can still do an ambitious card routine
wow.
on you, and that's like one of the go-tos that most magicians will do to people is just some variation of this routine called the ambitious card routine, which is just
That's what I was gonna
you
ask.
put your card, you pick a card, and then that card, no matter what you do, it ends up at the top of the deck. And then there's just like a bunch of variations on it. But I know most of the variations, so I'll watch magician because it's like a very simple thing, but it seems very cool.
Yeah.
And it's like really great magicians, like David Blaine does it a lot, but he's just so good at that he does his own spin on it. But I know basically how he's doing, but
Yeah.
obviously I don't understand all of it. But like I'm like I know exactly
But
how
the
he did that one.
variations are so people don't.
Yeah.
Be like,
So
oh,
I'm just
you
standing
put the
there
card.
admiring it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but if you gave me a deck of cards, I could still do a little ambitious card routine.
I like how it has the word ambitious as the label of the yeah. Super cool magic trick.
Yeah. There was I used to bring my cards to, I didn't go to parties ever, but I went to like one party in high school, and I always had a deck of cards on me. I'm not even kidding. Dude.
These.
Oh, I had a trick deck
Hey,
in my back
Crystal.
pocket, and I had a regular deck in my front pocket.
The trick is
And so I did this one trick to this this blonde girl. She was like super hot. I'm not gonna say her name, Ashley Wilson, but I did this. It's a trick where it's a variation of the ambitious card routine where you take their card, you show them their card, and then you put it in their hand, and then you like make them put their other hand over it, and then you like swap the card, and like it looks like it's like transferring through their hand in
Okay.
real time. It's a very easy trick.
Yeah.
It's just very simple sleight of hand. I did it to her 7 times in a row, and she fell for it every time. It was like, and I like felt like a god.
And you let her go. This was your lady.
Oh, we eloped now. But my point is,
Mm.
the thing about magic, the thing about prestidigitation is that your fingers become very nimble.
Yeah.
And I've retained some of that nimbleness.
Have you ever tried to pickpocket someone?
Not only have I tried to, I've successfully
Successfully.
done it. And I'm very good at reverse pickpocketing. It's one of my most fun pranks is to put stuff in people's pockets and then be like, what the fuck?
That is pretty funny.
It's so, dude, we went to, when I did Hannah's Oberlin thing, we went to this secret society show after, and I got high because Ben O'Connell let me hit his pen, and I was like, amen, brother. And then they had like a shit, it was like it's like a don't tell, and it was in this coffee shop, and they had a bunch of business cards, and I just started, they were all like like talking to other comics, and I was like, I literally can't do that.
So
I can't go up to somebody and be like, hi, I'm Harry. I suck at comedy. Your set was so good.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, good set, and then whatever. I liked your fucking Hitler joke. But so I just started while everybody was like talking to each other. I just took like 10 business cards, and I just started putting them into people's pockets.
Whoa.
And it got to the point where like Tommy Cook and Ben O'Connell, they thought it was funny, so they started doing it. So. And Hannah had this big Matrix leather jacket on, and she got to the point where like we got back to the hotel and she had like 50 cards in her
and
fucking
she didn't
thing.
notice at all before.
Well, she noticed throughout, but then we just kept replanting them, and it got to the point where everybody was like, "You get away from
I
me!"
know, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Where the business card
Yeah,
is.
it's like, stop
Right
it!
here,
It's like, if you look behind your ear, yeah.
That is a good trick. That's a nice skill to have. Could you take someone's watch off?
I was
there?
just gonna. So there used to be a trick that I would do, where you would put the card underneath their watch, and you do that if you just like grab someone's hands and like get them comfortable with you feeling their hands and their wrists, then they won't really notice. If you like, the trick is you fold up the card underneath the deck, that's their card, and then you say like, can you give me your hands, and you hide the card like right here, and you grab it and you slide it under their watch. But since you're putting pressure on the top of their wrist, they don't really feel it
More
go
focused
under.
on that.
But if they have like a simple watch like this, it's very easy to like go over, slide under, flick it out, and then pull it out.
Really?
That's not very easy, but
But you have to unhook it, right? Instead of like a metal watch where
the metal watch is hard, but it's like you go
because it's
under-
heavier, you can feel it more.
This is the only thing that's hard is the fucking pulling this out,
Yeah.
and then the release. But I'm saying this like I could do it expertly
Yeah,
right
that's
now,
not like
but
that. I just feel like watches. So I'm just imagining myself. I'm like, I would totally know. And then just someone does it to me, and I wouldn't notice it.
do you know Apollo Robbins?
No.
I'll show you a link tonight.
Yeah.
He's like a master pickpocket, and he'll literally just like pull people. He's done like TED Talks. He'll just pull people up on stage and just be like, I'm going to teach you how to steal a wallet. And then they'll be like, okay. And he'll be like, so what I'll do is I'll put my hand on your shoulder, and then I'll pretend to look inside your vest. And as he's doing that, he holds up their watch behind them. They don't even know that he already has it.
That's good.
It's so unbelievable.
Yeah, when I was in Europe, they were like, beware the gypsies. Because there was a bunch of them that was like, they do little stuff where like, try to read your palm or something and then demand money after that, or like give you saffron or some kind of herb. And they're like, oh, you must pay me. And they're like, dirty gypsies, stay away from them.
You must pay me or you will be cursed forever.
Yeah. Freaky Friday. I'm like, yes. I want to be in Lindsay Lohan's body. Come on.
Give me double D's.
Come on. Whatever you want, I'll do it. I'll eat it. Please.
Yeah, I try to be one of the crafty ones. Try to find myself I've always thought the best reality show that they could ever make is just following like 10 homeless people from the same area in a city. And just the group, mic them all up.
Yeah.
Follow the group dynamics. You could easily film them. It's not like it's all outside. Like
I know. Pay them $10.
Film on
each.
site. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
the cheapest show.
And it would be funny because the stars of that show inevitably would get homes.
Yeah.
So then they could like be the host of the next season or something. So you could win.
Self-fulfilling.
So then all these homeless people, it would be like it's kind of like a Squid Game
Yeah,
thing.
it's almost helping them. It's like a charity.
Exactly. And so that's where when people come after me, I say, well, what have you done?
Let me see your tax returns for charity, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think they'd have some good storylines, probably. 'Cause
They'd have
homeless
phenomenal
people, I
ones.
bet it's probably like the Chicago comedy scene where they like know each other and they're like, oh, that guy.
Yeah. I hate
She's with him, and he's with her.
unbelievable, but he's so.
He can't even.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of.
yeah. He only has one shopping cart. She's getting with
So
him.
we are
they have
thinking
like
about the
different
same homeless.
currency.
Yeah. That guy, he doesn't even have a divvy bike.
Yeah, he can't even shoot heroin into his dick.
Yeah, his
He
Snickers
does it in
vein
his
collapsed.
toes, yeah. He's weak,
This sounds gay, and
doesn't it all?
I hate that I think this thought, but truly, there are so many crazy characters in Chicago comedy
Mm.
that if you could have a fly on the wall reality show of just like, I'm just gonna name a few names,
Yeah,
like
throw him out there.
just watch Paul Miller late at Lottie's, watch Ryan rambling on a horse,
Yeah.
Ryan Oliver, just like, I mean, and those are the ones that I love. Like I like those
Yeah,
guys.
I know. That's
But there are like a million versions of like
just wackos.
people that are just totally insane.
Yeah.
And just watching like the semi-normal comics interact with them outside of like Easy Bar and like a group of 5,
Yeah.
because we've all been in like a dynamic where it's like 3 people and then like the 4th will come and you're like, you're crazy. But you can't just be like, no, you can't be part of this
Yeah, you
dynamic.
kind of gotta
So now the entire thing changes.
acknowledge them, but not touch
And now
them.
we're like, so how is the mental hospital?
Yeah, I mean, we were just at Will. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a friend visit, and then she came with me to like open mics and shows, and I just wondered what it looked like from her eyes, because we would talk about. She'd just sit there, and I would talk to other comics, and we would just talk about like comedy stuff. But like, if you're not in it,
It's gotta be weird.
you just don't know. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff you probably don't understand. I just kept turning to her. I was like, "Do you understand?" I think I was overplaying it of like, "Is this even English to you? You
Yeah.
dumb fucking
You
muggle?"
monkey.
Yeah. I don't think it's that serious, but it is. You know, there's like its whole little ecosystem.
It is 100% that serious though in a way, because
know, yeah, this is
because like
this is
the
life or
thing
death.
the thing that's crazy about comedy is like I can talk about it forever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like if I have comedy in common with somebody, I will just boom, we're talking about that. It's kind of
Keep
like
going, yeah.
most guys in sports, but like I can truly, it's like it does not matter.
Yeah.
And people that aren't into comedy, because it's way more niche than sports or music even, like you ever have someone ask you about comedy and it's sort of just like, how is comedy? Or like what do you do? Like, how do you write a joke? And you just want to be like, well, I don't have time to. Like,
The amount of background information I would need to give you.
I actually have a friend who she's visiting in the fall, and I think I would bring her to like a couple open mics, but I don't know how. Stop. I don't think she's gonna get to this point in the podcast.
Yeah.
We did hook up once.
Oh.
No.
But now you guys
She's
are
a lovely
just
lady.
casual, friends.
I asked if I could kiss her, and then I stroked her face. All true. But she's coming. Hopefully. No. She's arriving.
Okay, yeah.
Potentially in the fall, and I was wondering like what would the dynamic be, just like bringing her to an open mic. Would it be weird? So how did you deal with that? Just have her like at your hip the entire time?
Well, what are you worried about? Like comics will hit on her, or that?
No, I'm not
she'll
worried about that.
be
I just don't want to
uncomfortable?
be like, you sit here. I'm gonna just talk to everybody
And-
else, but I also don't want to just
While
be
I
like,
network.
this is my friend. She doesn't know about comedy.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of introduced him, and she like saw me do a show, and she like sat in the audience, and just, I mean, usual there are some things 'cause she doesn't know anyone, and then usually we just talk about comedy, and she can't really like.
Yeah, I feel bad.
Wait, hold on, what was that you guys were talking about? What was that thing you just brought up? You know, she's not gonna like.
It's called a bait and
interject.
switch.
Misdirection. Now shut up. Stop talking.
An inherent build of tension is
Yeah,
necessary,
I know,
and then you have to
yeah,
release the
It's
tension.
a comedy club. Yeah, but she's cool. She's like down to hang, so she'll like sit there, and then like, I'll include her in sometimes, or like ask her a question, and then I'm not always just talking to her. Like me and her are hanging out. That's
Yeah.
the main purpose of it. So I think if you just juggle it, but yeah, just don't like sit here.
I'm
then
definitely
you just walk
overthinking it.
away.
Yeah, I don't want to ostracize.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Has she ever seen you do comedy before? That's always my fear.
No,
None of my family has seen me do comedy. I don't let them.
you don't want them to?
I don't let them.
Do they have they seen videos?
Well, yeah, they follow me on Instagram, so there's nothing I do about that. But they're like, "Can we come to a show?" I'm like, "No."
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sort of I don't think I want my mom to watch me for a long time.
for a while. All your jokes are about her, so it's probably just the best.
Yeah, every single one are about how hot she is.
Your mom's hot too.
None of my
This is,
friends have. Oh, so it's weird because all my high school friends who I grew up with, I got class clown in high school, not a big deal.
Whoa. This is starting. I got most likely to be famous on the internet,
Whoa.
which meant a different thing
That's
back
sort
then.
of the same.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
it was
most
a little
like-
more
most
flattering
likely
back
to
then, I
hit
think.
it off on TikTok.
Yeah.
It was funny because my best friend, he was the top of our class. I won class clown, and I was shocked because I wasn't like a popular kid.
I'm surprised they still have that award. I feel like that would have been phased out.
There's some name that they changed it to, like most likely to make someone laugh in class or some bullshit. But it was class
the
clown.
biggest bitch
Yeah, we had
in
that.
school.
No.
Biggest tits.
But what kind of like big? Like biggest bitch and then biggest bitch.
What was the actual title of the?
Me?
No. Oh, I thought you said they had an official title,
No.
like award. Hey.
Oh, this is so embarrassing.
You guys want to join in if
This
you
is
want?
way worse
Yeah.
than this is worse than having
These
sex
mics
in
aren't
front
on,
of
so you guys
yeah.
don't need to worry about it.
We're just practicing, just to warm up.
All right.
Yep. So
I thought you were saying there was a title from your high school that like someone won the biggest bitch. But there
No,
was
I
actually
wish.
there was like an
We did have.
unwritten understanding that there was a biggest bitch.
I might potentially make up a story right now, but I'm pretty sure it's at least
I have a
partially
few
true.
of those, yeah, where I'm like, am I
Where-
exaggerating
dude,
this?
Because of the podcast, I've just been laying in bed at night and I'll be like, did I just make up a story?
Just
And then I
lie.
fucking read a book and and literally there was a chapter called The Fallibility of Memory and I was like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
I made up a lot of that.
I mean, Theo Vaughn, I guarantee most of his stories are not true. Have
Yeah.
you ever heard him be like, yeah, my friend. Who's
The
in
root.
Yeah.
But so there was we used to have, part of this is absolutely true. We had a superlative for worst driver
Didn't.
and hold on.
Yes,
And
I
then,
think I know where this
and
is
then
going.
the girl who
love it.
won, and the thing about the superlatives is there was a big pep rally at the end of the year in front of the entire school. You had to go up in front of them and accept the award, and this girl won it in a landslide. And it's because she like ran into the side of like a special needs adults van, and they all
Oh,
got
wow.
out.
That's pretty good.
They ran amok,
Yeah.
and then she had
which-
to accept their award.
What race was she?
I think she was white.
Oh, okay.
No,
I
she
thought this
wasn't-
was
she wasn't
going-
Asian.
Yeah, it's like the only Asian in the school. They were like, "Don't worry, I don't think we need to
Yeah.
vote for this one."
But I won class clown, which I did not think I'd get. By the way, the coolest part about winning that, or even being in the running for it, was finding out who voted for me that I didn't really know. Because I had like kids who didn't really talk to me that were like kind of quieter in the class, like
yeah.
quiet girls that would come up to me and they'd be like, "I'm voting for you," and I'd be like, "What? I thought you hated
You
my."
know me?
I thought
know
you
who
hated
I
my
am?
stuff
Yeah.
because every class is
my
an open
material,
mic. Yeah. I literally viewed every class.
Hey,
I was
we're
like,
having
"It's
fun,
time."
folks. We're having fun.
Yeah,
Come
exactly. I was like,
on.
guys.
Yeah.
But I remember I was like, I can't believe I won. And then my best friend just goes like, yeah, I mean, you split the vote. Like, definitely. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, the top two probably like cancel each other out, and then you were the third. And then that's how you won.
Who are the top two?
Like, he was saying, like, he fucking worded it correctly.
They
Like,
tied, so they
like
took
they
the
took
votes.
votes from each other. So one of
Oh.
them should have gotten it,
Their
but they
friend group.
cannibalized their own. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I snuck in because of that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think it still counts.
I mean,
top
it
three out of the
absolutely
whole
does
school.
count.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
I was shocked that I got it.
Were you were like the funny kid in class? Would you like say once you felt the moment?
If there was a
you
moment,
would
I went
say
for
a
it
funny
every
line?
single
Yeah.
time. Yeah, which got me in. I mean, the thing is I was never I was a goody good for the
Mm.
most part in terms of like I love rules. I love rules. I
Yeah.
hate breaking rules.
Okay.
I'm very comfortable with rules.
Yeah.
I know what to do.
Order.
Exactly. Nazi.
Yeah.
Uh,
yeah. Exactly what I was thinking.
But I was like a huge fan of anytime the teacher said something that I could yes and, I would go off of that. If I could my ultimate goal is like make the teacher laugh.
Oh yeah, that's.
And then if you could get them to laugh,
and you're home
then
free.
yeah, then you're home free.
Nothing can touch you.
Dude, there was one time I made the teacher laugh so hard she had to like stop class.
Whoa.
It was and it wasn't even that funny of a thing. It was in 7th grade and she was like, do you guys like have any insight as to what your parents' marriages were like before you guys came into the picture? I don't know how that was relevant to what the fuck we were doing. It was just a literature class and I just was like, I'm gonna raise my hand and just make up an answer
Yeah.
and just try to make it funny. And I just raised my hand and I was like, yeah, my parents told me that before I was born, they were a very sexy couple. And she like lost her shit.
Yeah, I
And
wouldn't
it was
expect that
like
answer.
she had to stop class for like 10 full minutes and then would keep, it was like the Key and Peele, like high on potness.
Yeah.
And then later in the hall, I like heard her over telling it to other
To other
teachers
team,
in the hallway, and
they
I was
just
like,
cracked up
like, yeah,
laughing.
dude, I did that.
Yeah, fucking. She's butchering it, but that's
peak,
that's
yeah, I
pretty
mean,
much what it was.
Kind of messed up the timing
I
in the
know.
second
Yeah,
half.
she's her tempo's.
Were you
terrible.
trying to make people? Were you trying to yuck it up?
So
in
some
class?
yucks. I feel like
Yuck 'em ups?
a little bit. We always had in my senior English class. You had like a journal prompt every day when you came in. You had to write like a paragraph on it, and then I always try to make those funny, and then I would pass around and be like,
Check it out.
read that. I remember one of them that people like other people started passing around to other people in the class, and I was like, it was a good one.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was like, they were recognizing.
Anytime there was a an opportunity to like justify a joke because of the project, I did it.
Yeah.
There was a in my history class we had to make a children's book. There's like a bunch of different templates that you could do, and one of them was like make a children's book that explains in simple terms what happened in like a significant event. And so I made the Very Hungry Hitler, and I had a field day with it. I literally just photoshopped. I was like, I can do whatever I want because like this is literally about World War II.
Okay.
So I photoshopped. I have a picture of it somewhere. I might reprint it just for old time's sake.
Yeah.
I photoshopped the it's just the hungry caterpillar, but it's just Hitler's face on it, and then the sun has the swastika on it.
Oh man.
That was my
wow.
cover, and I got to like read it to my class.
Yeah, that was well.
And then Hitler ate Austria, and then it was so awesome.
Yeah, that's they let you do that. There wasn't any backlash for that.
No,
It was
zero.
the assignment.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
You're following the rules.
Yeah, literally any time I got to do that, I would just fucking and then
mainly Hitler. It was almost always Hitler.
yeah, I'd be like, is there any? I know
There's
this
a
is
theme.
I
that
know this is
starts
pre-calc, but is there any way I can swing this to Hitler?
I really got it. You don't realize I gotta make this about Hitler.
He was a big numbers
and
guy.
Now I can't wait.
Yeah.
This has to happen right now. I remember my pre-cal. No, I wasn't in pre-cal. What am I saying? My algebra 1 teacher.
Whoa.
She was known. She was like an older lady, but she didn't wear a bra, and she had humongous boobs, and her nipples were always super hard.
I like.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if you'd seen her. I don't know if you'd like so much, but she was like known for that. That's like what we would call. I don't remember what her name was, but we'd call her the teacher with hard nipples. Yeah. Do you have any hot teachers at your school?
I did have some hot teachers, and we had this thing. We had this thing called Challenge Day, which was where you all. It was a horrible idea. It was where you all went into the gym. You took turns when you were in 8th grade, and they'd get you in a group of like 60 or 100 people because we had like several hundred in that class. And then each one would get a day, and you'd go and you'd be like in little AA groups almost, and there'd be a teacher moderating the little group, and then they just ask super deep questions, and everybody was crying and stuff.
Oh my god.
They do like a cross the line activity where it was like cross the line if like one of your relatives is an alcoholic, and then you'd see everybody cross the line.
It was
and
in
stuff.
8th grade. This is a lot.
I know.
This feels like a lot.
And I mean, there was a ton of funny stuff that came out of it,
Yeah.
like because they're all like, "This is extremely confidential. Everything that you talk about here within this group does not leave this group." And then we got out, and everybody's like, "Fucking Fahada's no friends." And he's super bummed about it.
Yeah. This guy's a fucking drunk.
No, seriously.
We're gonna hold
And
that
one of the
over him
greatest quotes
forever.
I think about forever is this kid named Kyle McCarron, just a total goober. And he was just telling us about his experience. We're like, "How was Challenge Day?" And he was like, "Oh, everybody was just like super emotional and like crying." And then they got to me, and I just didn't have anything bad about my life to say.
Yeah.
And then we're like, "So what'd you say?" And he was like, "I don't know. I just said like people had gone around and be like, my dad's dead, like my sister raped my dog, like." And then they got to
that's
him.
it.
I swear to God,
Word
he was
for
like.
word.
He was like, "Sometimes when I'm playing Xbox, I'll eat Cheetos and my fingers get really greasy." And it's really annoying.
And everyone
But,
cried really hard.
So we were doing this cross the line activity, and
how honest do you think the kids were? Did anyone?
well,
know?
it was sort of like you want to look as afflicted
It
as
was a
possible.
bit, yeah.
So I
there
think
was
people
a-
were like, "My great grandfather was he abused." So we were doing the cross the line activity, and I was crossing the line quite a bit.
Yeah.
And the super hot teacher came over and like I remember I was crying and then she like hugged me and I was like and I sort of looked over and I was like, "What?
Yeah.
I'm
you
not
said,
so sad anymore." But that same teacher, she was obviously a younger woman. A kid like smacked her ass in class.
Oh boy.
And then yeah, they beheaded him in the cafeteria.
They ripped his balls off
Yeah.
and shoved it in his mouth.
It came down from Valhalla and
at
put his
prom.
testicles in his
Yeah.
mouth. Yeah.
They strung him up at prom.
We had some hot male teachers, not so many female.
Yeah, we had one super hot. I think two. I didn't have. It was my English teacher, and then there was like another hot teacher that I like would see from afar, but I didn't have her class. So
Like I
couldn't-
wish.
I couldn't soak it in and
Yeah.
really get in there.
It's upset. That's kind of a weird.
Yeah, I think she was like 24, 25, 'cause she seems young. Obviously, back then I was
Back
like,
then
she's
you're like, that's
she's
a woman.
Yeah. She's a lady of royalty.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and then there was always a rumor that she was like hooking up with the football players, but I doubt that was true. We just wanted to think so. I'm like, I must play football. I have to be on
Do
varsity.
you think that you could ever psychologically handle hooking up with a teacher as a kid? 'Cause I'd crumble.
You think so? Just like
If any
if
teacher
she came
ever
on to you and was like, "Can you stay after class?" You'd be like, "I don't want to."
I'd get too nervous, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd.
My penis was so small back then. It's before
Maybe
puberty.
that's what she. I mean, if they're hooking up with a
That's
teenager,
true,
they
that's
probably know what
probably-
they're getting into.
She's probably not looking for a hog on a
Just-
13.
She's like, "Whoa, what the hell is this?
Well, I don't want it
This
now.
is way more than
This
I
is a man's
signed up
cock.
for." Yeah. Ew.
Kerthunk.
Your dick is huge.
Ew, your
get out of my classroom. Oh my god.
All right, I'll just eat your ass.
I used to be attracted to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted a
Now
boy.
that I know you.
You're a man.
I just wanted a boyish cock.
I like to think I would have jumped at the opportunity, but yeah, I mean, I
It's a lot
lost
of
my
pressure.
virginity when I was 14.
What?
Yeah. So I was
Do
I'd
tell.
already had. It was like I didn't kiss a girl until I was in 8th grade, and I was really
I didn't kiss one
self-conscious about
till
that.
17 years old. But
It's different schools. All my friends
Virginity-
did like kiss girls. and I was
virginity
like,
is pending.
yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, I'll get there. I'm trying to hook up with teachers now. It's not working so well. They want the boy.
So didn't have your first kiss till you were 14 or 8th
Yeah,
grade.
till I was 8th grade, and I remember I was
What is that,
like,
13?
I need to get
Okay.
yeah, probably around there. I was like, I'm so behind. I need to fucking. And then like there was a girl, her friend. She told me that her friend wanted to kiss me, and then we met.
That must have been
We met
such
at the
an exciting
bathroom
news.
and like during school. I like, can I go to the bathroom? And then we just met and we kissed. And then we ran away.
What?
And I was like, all right, check, got it done. And then yeah, I think I was like a freshman. It was like near the end of freshman year, and I was supposed to. We had kind of me and this girl had kind of like, not talked about it, but it was like I talked about it a little bit. We were like, oh, we're gonna make love, and then a party was scheduled, and she couldn't make it, but her best friend was there. And I slept with her best friend instead.
So you were a dog from day one.
No, not at all.
That's crazy to
I
go
was like,
from.
if anyone wants to give it to me, I'll take it. I swear to God, please.
That's so wild to go from like I'm terrified to have sex with this person to be like I'll fuck her friend.
I think it was more just like, well, dude,
I'll
you're,
lose it to her
you're
best
here,
friend.
yeah, and I have braces, so please have sex with me.
Wow.
Yeah.
You had sex with braces on. 14 years old? That's you fucked a child. That's fucked
As
up.
a child, hold on.
Yeah, well, it's
Yeah.
still
When did you lose your virginity?
18. I think I was 18. I was in
That's good.
Ireland.
Oh, whoa.
Mhm.
With someone you knew?
No, it was with my high school girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
And
Was that the plan? You're like, we're gonna.
yeah, we had
big
been dating
romantic
for
trip.
a couple of months, and she just really wanted to wait, and I was like, I'm just as terrified, so like,
Oh, okay.
let's for sure. And then we planned this trip to Ireland, and I was like, what if we wait a little longer, and then I'll be able to tell people on podcasts that I lost my virginity. It's a great conversation starter. I lost my virginity in Ireland.
That is a pretty cool.
Because then I
sentence.
also had my first pregnancy scare in Ireland.
It was the same.
Not the
first
same time.
Oh.
So the first time was pretty bad, understandably.
It was on the
and
same
then-
trip though.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So the first time happened in Dublin, and then the pregnancy scare was in Galway, and
How would she? The condom broke, or how it did?
Condom broke
Oh, okay.
because the shitty Durex
I
condoms.
thought she was like, I'm pregnant. It's like 2
No.
days after you had sex.
The condom broke, and
I
I
can
had
feel it, I know
was
it.
a whole thing. I had to fish it out of her, and then. But she was on fucking birth control the whole time. So
yeah, and then
in the moment though, like she was crying in the shower, and fucking I was like, I'm gonna be a dad, and then I was like, is my kid Irish? Because he was conceived
that's
in
how
Ireland.
that works. Yeah.
And then we went to the pharmacy, which by the way, their pharmacies aren't 24 hours. So then they're closed on Sunday. So we're like the window's closing, and then we get an appointment, and this guy was like, so what's the problem? And then she explained it, and he's like, okay, are you on any birth control? And then she was like, yeah. And he was like, why are you here? And I
Did
was
she
like,
not know, or she was just so
no,
scared?
she was just so worried.
Yeah.
Because when you're a little girl,
You just don't
she was
know.
10 at the time. Yeah. And my biggest fear was like, please don't tell your mom.
Yeah, I know.
And then
the conversation with the parents would be the worst part.
I
of
know
it.
that she immediately did.
Oh no.
Yeah.
They did talk to you about it, or no?
No, they didn't talk to me about it. Her dad walked in on her going down on me.
Oh my God.
I know.
That's a lot.
And it was in the basement. So he had like say we're on the couch here, she was right here, and then he was behind me. So he had like the aerial view.
Straight.
And she like scampered into the corner naked like Gollum from
Oh,
Lord of the
wow,
Rings, and
yeah.
I would just like put a pillow over my. But I mean, the guy was right there,
This is straight out of a movie.
and they were British too, so he's like, "Come on, Jazz." Oh, I shouldn't say fucking. Fuck.
You got his wank
Yeah.
in you.
And then I just remember I was sitting in the basement. I was like, I have to shake his hand, and leave
Yeah.
tonight. And then so I like walked upstairs and sheepishly was like, "Have a good night."
Thanks for dinner,
I was
Mrs.
such a
Roberts.
skinny little twink too.
It's probably kind of adorable.
No, I think that her parents
You're still
were
naked with the pillow. You said, "Have a good night, everyone."
yeah, walk out with the pillow. I think that her parents were kind of like, this is a best case scenario for her to lose her virginity to, because I was such a little fucking
Yeah, they
faggot.
weren't worried about you.
Yeah, they were never like, he's really doing a good job, you know? Little did
Whoa.
they.
Yeah, little they know I impregnated their daughter.
Because, like, if I had a daughter, first of all, I'm going to pressure my daughter into being a lesbian so much. Just
yeah.
because I don't want to deal with the fact that my baby girl is getting deflowered by
Yeah.
a boy. Because I know how boys are.
Yeah. You're just gonna show her pictures of like hot lesbians.
Yeah.
Or,
I'm just gonna put a
Just be
softball
like,
under her
isn't that
hand.
cool?
Mm-hmm. Snatch
aren't
is
women,
cool.
Aren't women cool and hot?
Every single time I see a woman with nice tits, I'm like, check those out.
Honey, you're not looking.
Just objectify
Honey.
women in front of my daughter
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
she's like a construction worker of a
yeah.
child.
You're gonna. Yeah, I've done my job as a father.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then like when she gets her first clam, I can have a beer with her on the front porch.
He
Be
said,
like, were you on top or bottom?
he
She's
said,
like, on
"How-
top. And I'm
how
like,
was
fucking
it?
goddamn right you
Sweet.
were.
I showed you how to do it.
Yeah. But it's like my biggest fear is like having her be like, this is Ben. And it's like, oh, Ben plays water polo and he's 6'7" and he's
Yeah.
3 years older than
So
you.
he's got a fucking collarbone tattoo.
That's
I don't
very
like this guy.
upsetting.
Hey. Yeah.
But if I saw me, I would be like, yeah, he's not gonna.
You think he'd be
He's
okay
not
with
gonna.
it?
He might be very good at things leading up to that.
But the actual act.
No.
I mean, it's just gonna happen. I feel like you can't. And you always hear those stories of like parents that were super strict, like super religious, and then those kids are always the freakiest.
Guess
'Cause
who
you just-
was with?
Yeah, you.
Well, I was because the whole. Yeah. So. Yeah.
She was super religious. That's why.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
She literally told me one time, she was like, I didn't know what a penis was till I was 18.
What?
I know.
What does that even mean? She didn't know men had penises, or she
She
didn't
was
know what it
homeschooled.
looked like.
They literally, it's allegory of the cave.
She didn't know that there was an existence.
They didn't
of a
know
penis.
what it was. Well, yeah, I think she was like,
Maybe had a general idea.
or how to use it in sex, or just anything
Wow.
along those lines.
That's crazy.
And then, and I kind of always wanted to be like, because she would always say that to be like, I'm like not experienced, and I always wanted to be like, but you caught up. But like you got up to. I can see what you're doing with me.
Yeah, I
You
know.
clearly
You're
got up to
understanding.
speed.
You put the puzzle pieces
You're
together.
either a very fast learner
Yeah.
or
You're a genius.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
a penis genius.
penis genius. So
That's crazy. I mean, I can't imagine they think they're really protecting her. Probably makes her more curious.
of course it does. And it's like the thing with like if you never let your kid eat junk food, then they're gonna go to college and fucking
Yeah, and then
Eat
be like,
cake for
The
breakfast."
chocolate is incredible. I've never
Yeah.
had this before.
yeah, I was very fortunate to have a dad who killed himself with type 2 diabetes because I understand
And
the
you
value
said,
of moderation
now
now.
I get it.
Yeah.
Sugar's bad.
My parents raised me and they were like, just to make sure they know that you shouldn't eat too many tasty treats. When he's in high school, his dad's gonna eat himself to death.
And he agreed to that.
And that'll
it was
do
a
that.
beautiful lesson
Mhm.
for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I still love them.
Yeah, I have
The
one.
M&Ms.
And I go, this is for you, Dad.
Ah.
Just a little M&M. I never had the like birds and bees with my dad. I definitely like learned about sex through porn. Like I remember the first couple times I had sex, they were like, "Why do you keep asking me if I like that?" Because I'd be like, "Do you like that?" I'd like talk like a porn star because
That's
that's
funny
just how
as
I
fuck.
learned it. I was like, "Yeah, this is how you do sex, and this is just how it is."
Just first pump, you like that? Just checking in.
No, okay, well,
Do
I'll-
you still
yeah,
like
I
it?
know. I'm checking in. 5-minute check-in.
Do you
is-
not talk dirty now?
No, I do. Probably more,
That's where we're
but
different.
just like cool stuff.
You do more?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we're the same.
Yeah.
We're
I mean, I like it. I mean, I gauge it.
What do
know,
you say?
You always want to see it. I can't say it into a microphone.
We're the same.
We're
I
just-
can't even tell
we're
my
just
best friends.
guys. We're
I
just
literally
guys
can't.
hanging out.
Yeah.
You know, all the usual stuff. But I gauge it. Like if I'm gonna pull hair, I'll always ask.
Uh-huh.
I remember the first girl who was like rough with me, and I was like, oh, this is different.
Mm.
Where she was like, spank me, call me a whore,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
This is a different level.
New territory.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, ooh, this is exciting.
And how did you navigate those waters?
I mean,
Were
she
you
was cool. She was kind of a drug addict, so it was like a lot of. It was like not for the right reasons. Yeah, I was like, okay.
So
this
she's
is-
not one of the good ones.
No, not one of the keepers. What was like your sexual awakening? My friend,
Oh, I have a crazy story.
yeah, had forgotten about it. My friend like brought. He was like, "Do you remember that one time?" And I was like, "Oh fuck, I had completely forgotten about it." It was like our friend. Cause I grew up in like a very tight knit neighborhood, so on like Saturday mornings I would just walk out and we'd walk to each guy's house and we'd pick them up and then we'd like ding dong ditch and egg
Oh,
houses.
that's
We'd
so
run around in
wholesome.
the sewers. Like we had
What?
we had big sewers.
It's like Pennywise.
yeah, I mean literally. And one of our friends, we went to his house and his sister answered the door in her underwear, and she was like maybe like 4 years older than us,
Holy
and
shit.
I was like 12 probably.
She knew what she was doing.
Yeah, 100%. And I just remember just like.
Ooga.
Ooga.
Yeah.
It's like Bugs Bunny when he's
Yeah,
like
just completely bored straight.
Yeah. I just completely forgot about it and I was like, oh whoa, that's a core memory for sure.
That is totally. Yeah, to be like, I like that. I don't know what about it I
I
like.
don't know what's going on here.
I was always a little horn dog. But well, so my dad was, I told you he was kind of like frat bro-y.
Yeah.
So like from literally like as young as I can possibly remember, I mean, I remember we would always as a family watch the the opening ceremony of the Olympics, and my dad would just point out every woman, be like, not that good, and then he'd be like, she's fucking hot,
Yeah,
and we'd be like 8 years old and be like, ew.
he would let you know
But then he'd be like, holy shit, she's a fucking, look at her, look at her.
son,
I know, but seriously.
you're not looking.
And then in public too, he'd be like, "Good God," and I'd be like, "I'm 6." But I never really processed that stuff because I just
Yeah.
didn't really understand it. And I was
he
kind
was
of
trying to point it out to you, like make you understand. He was talking to
no,
himself.
he was talking out loud,
Yeah.
and I
He was
just
just
happened to
being
be
a
there.
guy.
He was kind of like boys or be boys,
Yeah,
be
yeah.
boys. But then there was one my neighbor who I had. There's like a couple that lived next to me, and then they had like 20-something-year-old sons that were still with them, and one of them had like the old VHS, like porn VHSs, and a flat screen. They were like down. His bedroom was here, and mine was here, and my printer was right here. There's like for like all the math homework that everyone did. The printer was in my room for some fucking reason, and I remember I was printing math homework one night, and I just like looked and I saw like 80s porn, and I'd never seen porn before.
Yeah.
And I just pulled up a little chair and I sat there and I just like watched it.
Yeah, yeah. That's
And then
what, that's
every
how it
night at the
begins.
same time it would happen. So I was reared on like 80s VHS porn,
Wow.
like Seinfeldian porn, with like the big poofy hair and the big bushes and stuff.
Yeah, you said this is
Yeah, and
what
then I
it's
learned
all
how to
like.
jerk off just by friction makes fire. It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's how it begins. You just kind of like, you don't do anything. You just kind of watch it. I remember my grandpa. I was at their house one day and he had like in his office he had a closet. I don't know why I was just like being a kid, just like snooping around, and he had like a Playboy. It's like 200 of them.
Whoa.
So yeah, and I was like going.
No way.
And then I would like try and sneak one late at night when like pretend to go to bed and then like hide in the pantry and lock myself, and I would just go through them. And I didn't even know anything about like touching myself or anything. I was just like, just the feeling of it.
Yeah.
Of just like, whoa, this is. I don't know what this is. This
Yeah.
is it's.
But I
firing-
know that I like
it's
it.
firing on all triggers.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I would do that with my mom's Victoria's Secret catalogs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I think I just really liked lingerie.
Yeah. Maybe I want to design ladies' underwear.
I don't like the
someday.
lace.
I know, yeah. If only these women weren't in them. It was just the lingerie by themselves.
We really are like, how old are you?
I'm 28.
Okay. So you're a little older than me, but like we're still like, I still consider myself like part of that last generation that would like grew up without having the internet fully at
Yeah,
their fingertips.
constantly.
Because everybody like younger than me, it's like it's like, yeah, of course you know
They
it. You
have
just
no
Googled
idea.
what porn was.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
As soon as they had a phone.
I remember like when like we got a desktop in our house, and it was like we have the internet, and we can like
and I said,
and like we take
I
turns in
have
the computer and shit.
internet,
Yeah.
You guys don't.
I think that's like that's where the divide should be.
Yeah.
Pre and post, the most you could make. It's the biggest invention of all time.
Yeah.
So
Instead of like millennials and Gen Z, it should be right that year
yeah,
where it all came. I remember the first desktop I got, and Playboy.com was the very first thing I searched up. I would be late to Little League
mine was
Baseball.
boobs. No, it was addictinggames.com.
Yeah, I do.
Porta potty racers.
Yeah. Addicting games. I think was it one where there was like a ragdoll dummy and you could shoot him with all kinds of weapons. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I remember that one. I played that one a lot.
How to kill your boss or whatever.
Oh, I remember that. I can't picture it.
Where it was
but
like you could like hit the stapler and you just like beat the shit out of
just
him with a
torture
staple.
some guy. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah. This is right.
Porta potty racers was all time though. All right, what were you gonna say?
Um,
Playboy.com.
Yeah, and then one time I used my parents' computer. I didn't jerk off or anything. I just typed in screw, and then like my parents came up to me later and they were like, "Were you searching up?"
You've never been a hardware kid.
Yeah. And I think I tried to blame it on my sister's boyfriend. And I was like, I saw him in the office.
I swear to God, he
I
was
don't
in
know
there.
what he was doing, in there. But he was saying screw, 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 screw. He just kept repeating it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is surprising because like porn did come up. I think when I typed in screw, the first thing I think was porn, which seems kind of interesting.
That is weird.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
usually a thing you say.
You're never that far away from it.
I know it's always just
It's just
a
like
hop and a skip away.
I remember it blew my mind when I found X videos. And I was like, that's it?
Yeah.
Just an X
I
in front of
know.
videos?
This is
You
all
could
it is.
accidentally do that.
Well, my friend had I think it was a sidekick where it flipped up, and we would go on Jug World a lot, and it was just pictures of different
Yep.
jugs, and we would just sit there and just like
Check
just
it.
look. Yeah.
Yeah. So we both had flip phones too.
Yeah.
I had the Intensity 3.
I don't think I
It
can
was the one
picture
that
that
slid up.
one. Ooh, that's when you knew.
I was doing pretty well
Yeah, my friend had got an LG chocolate, and I hated him for like a good year.
with the super not responsive screen.
Yeah, I was like,
My sister had that, and we were like, "Why does she get that?"
fucking
And she
bitch.
was like, "It's bad for typing."
Yeah, I can't believe it. I remember the first like touchscreen. It had an app where you could throw dice, and I was like, "This is the
Whoa.
future." And
Yeah.
then that's all it did. Or it had a Zippo lighter.
Uh huh.
Like
Oh,
on
I
the-
remember.
like
And
the
do you
Zippo had
ever
a
have the
lap.
gun app
Yeah.
where it was just like you just like load and then go ba 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 ba
I
ba.
do
and
remember
then
that. I forgot about that one.
You have
Yeah.
to pay extra for the Desert Eagle.
For the 44 Magnum.
Yeah, with the smoke rising. out.
Yeah.
With the
Just-
iPod Touch.
Just useless apps in the beginning. That's all it was.
Not useless. How dare you?
That's true. That was rude to say.
I remember my sister for her 14th birthday. So this must have been 2012. Maybe it was maybe 13th, so 2011. Whenever she got an iPod Nano, and it was like, is that the wrong? I don't know. It was something like that.
It's earlier. Yeah.
iPod Nano, and I remember it had like a pretty high resolution camera compared to like our flip phones and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just remember I was like, can I just hold it? Just please let me hold it.
Let me
And it was such a big deal in our family. We were never allowed to have Nintendo DSs or anything, or Game Boys.
Just like video games were bad.
Our parents, yeah, sort of, honestly. We weren't allowed to have Call of Duty till high school.
Wow.
Because our parents were very like, why would you just want to kill people, blah, blah, blah. Even getting Madden. I didn't get to get
Yeah,
Madden. The
that
only
is-
reason I got Madden, I played Madden 11 on the Wii.
Yeah.
And the only reason I got it was because my sister's friend's brother was like, I don't need this anymore.
Yeah,
I have
they
an
thought you
Xbox.
killed people in Madden too. They'd never seen football before.
Yeah,
They're like, awesome.
in my franchise mode, you can do whatever the fuck you want. So I was putting like
It was
HGH in the
NFL
burgers,
Street,
the concessions.
actually.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
could rip people's heads
There
off.
are no rules actually. It was when the ambulance still came onto the field and carted people
He's
off.
like, yeah.
But so they never let us have any of like the electronics because they were kind of like just read books.
Yeah, they're just kids. Like, oh, they want you. Like, my dad would only let me watch an
Yeah.
hour of Saturday morning cartoons, and then he was like, "Turn this off. You have to go outside."
Go play outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, which now I appreciate.
Yeah, it makes sense. At
greatly.
the time, I was like, "You're literally Hitler. I hate you so
Yeah.
much."
Still Hitler, but
Yeah.
which I respect. Just kidding. That's a joke. If anybody's even made it to this point, but my mom, I wrote in my book at like my author's note because I have an author's note.
You're such a nerd.
I actually do.
You're such a
So
nerd,
in the
man.
beginning of my book, I told this story, but for my first birthday party, and I never had birthday parties, but it was my 6-year-old birthday party. My mom, like, because you put all the invitations in the cubbies and stuff, and my mom wrote out the invitation, and it literally was like, I snuck a look at it before I fucking handed this off to all
Yeah.
the hot
You
cuddies.
had a stamp of approval.
And it literally was this long diatribe of like, Harry and Teddy have plenty of toys, please just give them books.
Oh,
At the time, I was like, this fucking cunt. And then because of that, we just got like a shitload of books.
yeah, you got
namely
10
the Magic
Goblet of
Treehouse.
Fires. Yeah.
I actually never got into Harry Potter,
Oh man.
which is ironic.
Yeah.
But I got like the entire collection of Magic Treehouse books
Okay, that was
and
good.
just tore through them. And I was like, is reading cool? Is reading cool?
Yeah.
Then I read the Hardy Boys.
And you said
Did you ever read
reading is
those?
no, but were they older? It was like
Yeah.
from the 50s and 60s, right? They were really
What
old.
was the female version of the Hardy Boys?
Nancy Drew.
Yes, dude. What a poll. Thank you.
I know that.
Did you ever watch? Speaking of, what were your favorite Saturday morning cartoons?
I'm watching it now. I'm like I'm like re-going through it. Ben 10. Did you ever watch
I remember Ben 10.
Because it's funny when you talked about Tom Brady's like draft thing.
Yeah.
I made a folder and I drew all the aliens and I would write their abilities.
Whoa.
I had like a folder. I was obsessed. I wanted to watch so bad. Toys R Us had to watch.
Did you ever get? Dude, you should just one day just go to Target
I'm
and
still
just
gonna
fucking
buy.
do it.
Yeah, I mean the watch came out when I was like 17, and I was like, seriously, yeah. Hold on, going forearms. That's one
Yeah.
of the aliens.
That's good.
Yeah,
Me and my brother watch Wacky Racers.
I don't know that one.
Oh, it's on Boomerang.
No.
It was like all the old. We were like huge into like the older cartoons.
yeah,
Tom and Jerry.
Ooh,
I loved Tom. This is a core memory for me. When I was little, there was a billiard scene in Tom and Jerry where I could probably find it on YouTube, but I'll put it up. The camera died an hour ago, but there was a billiard scene where like Tom obviously got fucking butt fucked by a pool cue or something.
yes, horrifically violent.
So,
thing,
like,
yeah,
like if it were anything else, it would be just horrific.
A
Yeah,
bunch of.
you wouldn't be able to show it on TV, but I thought it was so funny that I rewinded on the remote because it was on demand. I rewinded on the remote and I played it like 3 times. I laughed equally as hard every time. And my dad snatched the fucking remote from me and he's like, "Nothing is that fucking funny."
I'll kill you. I
And
swear
I was
to
like,
fucking
I was
God.
like,
yeah.
and then he was like, "Oh no, you can keep watching." I was like,
Sorry, I love you, boy.
Yeah, he was so bad. I remember. Do you remember Fireman Sam? There's
Just
no way.
sounds kind of.
It was kind of a gay show. It was like a claymation fireman thing. But I remember when I was little, my mom was like, if you wanted to watch something, you went to mom and you were like, I want to watch Fireman Sam.
Yeah.
And she was like, navigate to fucking PBS Kids
help
and then
you
put it on. I remember one time my mom was out of the house and my dad, I was like, can I watch? He's like, what do you want to watch? And I was like, Fireman Sam. And he was like, I don't know about that, but I got something pretty close to that. And he just put on live news of like a fire that happened downtown in New York City. And I was just like horrified watching
Yeah.
like they're like, we found 3 bodies in the inferno.
Yeah, it
and
was
it blazes
Afghanistan.
up. Yeah,
He's like,
exactly.
what do you think of this?
George Bush comes on
yeah,
the fucking
yeah,
screen.
yeah. It is a desert storm. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
There's a lot of like, 'cause I mean, growing up, yeah, Cartoon Network was huge, and then like Nickelodeon, Drake and Josh. I watched
Oh
a lot
my
of like
God. SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh yeah.
He's
mean,
one of
just
my idols.
Those OG like Cartoon Network stuff. There's some like random shows. There like one season I remember a cat scratch. There was these 3 cats and one was Scottish. Remember that? Cat and dog. There's a lot of cat themed stuff. But Cartoon Network had such good shit. And then you're just a kid, so you just whatever it is, you'll just watch it throughout.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine being a kid and be like, I don't really like this show. If it was a
That's
cartoon,
a
I would
very
watch
good
it.
point, actually,
Yeah,
because there was nothing to distract you. It was like, this is everything.
Yeah, I'll just watch it throughout. If it's
Yeah.
on, I don't think I could not like it.
That's a very interesting thought, actually.
Maybe just something about cartoons, I guess, really appeals to.
I don't even think it was the
The
fact that it was
child.
cartoon. It was just like the fact that like I get control of the magical box now.
Yeah, and there's not so much choice. I feel like we have too much choice now. Like I'm
Yeah,
trying
it's
to.
paralyzing.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to like do less of that. Just give myself so much variety because I'll just do something for like 5 seconds and then be like, actually,
Yeah,
and then you never really completely do something.
that's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I don't even fucking. I love porn. I never even watch those to the end. You ever watch a porn video all the way through?
Like how long is it? How long? we talking?
Even like a 7-minute one, where you, like, you
No,
go
yeah,
through the
I
whole,
definitely
like,
skip
arc,
through. Yeah.
where it's like they meet the blowjob
The
and then
meetup,
they
yeah,
finish.
Thanksgiving dinner, and you figure out who is all coming. And you're like, wow.
There was one where it sort of sprung the ending upon me, because I like to try to come at the same time that the guy comes.
Really?
Yeah, which is a skill.
Yeah.
I don't really care if
You
she's
don't want to
coming.
make him feel so alone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's him that has
I'm
to.
thinking about.
But there was this one that was like a fake real. I'll show you the link. It was like a fake realty one, fake real estate agent one. And at the end, after they finished having sex, the video just kept going, and I was just like wiping off my dick, and I was like, what's going on right
You
now?
say, I'm
And
along
then the
for
guy,
ride.
it was like a POV video, and it just showed him like grab her wallet
Yeah.
and like start to head out. And then she was just naked, holding like obviously an airsoft gun. It was like you could hear the plastic. She was like, "Give me my fucking money!
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing with my?" And her tits are just out. And then it just ended. And I was like, "Why did they? Like, was the director
They
like,
had
I
to
have
wrap it
more of a
up.
vision for this?
Yeah, they said people are still gonna be watching.
I know you're covered in cum, but I have another scene that I need to shoot."
Yeah, I was thinking about like, 'cause porn used to be on DVDs. Do they have like director's commentary or like
Director's
like
cuts.
bloopers and stuff like that?
What
Have
was
you ever
the-
seen that on Pornhub? They have like bloopers. I'm like, I don't know.
I have. Those are hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend told me about those, and there was
Like-
one where it was a guy, and he was just sitting on a bed, and they were like, "Are you ready to see who you're having sex with?" And it was just like a 600-pound lady. He's like, "Nah, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it."
And they were fucking with him, or was it a 600-pound lady actually?
I think it was like that. This is his
I
assignment.
think it was actually.
Yeah, it's
he
open
was
mic
getting-
comedy.
Yeah, you do. You don't know what you're getting into until you're already
Yeah,
there.
exactly. You think you're just gonna immediately be on MSG, and they're like,
And then
"Mm-mm,
you said no.
you don't get Sasha yet."
No, this is in the back of Pony Inn.
Yeah. I was gonna say something else about porn. I mean, I could talk about it forever.
Yeah.
Dude, I had a joke that worked. I mean, you know, this is like a joke that works amazing the first time you do it, and then you can't get it to work again.
Yeah, it's a
And
frustrating.
it's the most frustrating thing. I had one that was like, I know I have a porn problem because if I watch porn for, it was like, if I watch porn for 30 minutes, 29 minutes are browsing and 1 minute is furiously masturbating. And it worked so well the first time I did it, and then the rest of the times people were just like, "Why are you telling us this?"
Yeah, was it in front of all
was-
comics the first time, and then
Mhm. It was always in front of.
yeah, the same comics every time, and something
Same
it lost
rotation.
its luster for some
I
reason.
can't believe you guys don't like this again.
Yeah, come on, this is funny. Yeah, it's always like finding the perfect video to finish to.
Dude.
It's not out there. It
yes,
doesn't
it
exist.
is.
It doesn't.
It's
exist.
there, but I can't remember the name of it.
yeah, it's a girl.
Circa 2013.
Yeah, she's blonde.
Dude.
She has a rose tattoo above her hip.
There's a Reddit. That's Ivy Rose. There's a Reddit page called r-porn ID, and you know how men don't like to ask for directions?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, they're very willing to ask for whether a porn star's name is something or not. So they'll literally just take screenshots or like have a video or a thumbnail or something and be like, "Who is this?" And then
Yeah.
all the guys will be like, "This is so and so. Here's a link."
Mm.
It's just guys helping guys.
It's what the world
It's
needs.
so
right now.
wholesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll see that a lot on like porn sites where it's like,
Name question mark.
yeah, and then they're like, and then there's a bunch of comments like, it's in the fucking first 5 seconds of the video, you
Yeah.
fucking retard idiot.
It's literally in the bottom right. You fucking faggot.
I will find you and kill you and then have sex with your body.
Yeah, and then there's always like the usual like, I'm so alone. You know what I mean?
It's
You're like,
always
oh
me.
fuck, I scrolled too
Yeah,
far.
and there's like memes sometimes. Like, you ever play Fallout 4?
No.
There's like a meme in it about Preston Garvey. It's this guy who just gives you the same mission over and over again, and then I'll see that a lot. It's just like memes
Oh,
on
that's
porn
funny.
videos. I'm like, you just came here to do that,
Yeah.
and then you left. You probably didn't even.
I've seen one where a guy asked, he was like, "Guys, I really need help on this calculus problem," and like a guy fully like
bunch of
explained
guys,
it to
yeah, a
him.
bunch
like,
of guys hop in.
fucking
like,
Khan
actually,
Academy, too.
Yeah.
yeah,
You didn't divide the 6. That's where you went wrong.
Yeah, it's weird how strangely wholesome the porn community can be.
Yeah, I think it's a place to connect. All guys kind of.
I mean, literally on the porn ID thing, they're like, no hatred, no hate speech, like all this. It's all love. Sam Morril has a bit about that where he's like, there was like a video of two gay guys fucking, and it got taken down for like hate speech 'cause like the whole thing was like one of them was like a Nazi or something, or they had a tattoo.
I think I do.
No,
remember
yeah, it was
this
a swastika
one.
tattoo.
It was like, this is a family friendly.
Yeah,
site,
and he's
right?
like, we at familyfuck.net or a family friendly website or whatever.
We don't allow that
And
shit.
gangbang, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I always kind of hate writing a porn joke 'cause I'm like, oh, this has to have been done. Like, everyone's done. Porn's been wiped clean.
I literally had like a 4-minute porn bit about how I haven't done it in so long.
Yeah.
But I literally
I mean,
the
if it's
week.
4 minutes, was it working? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, enough for me to keep.
Yeah.
The week that I
The
wrote it, I was
rotation.
like, this is my new thing.
This is it.
And
I'm gonna be this guy.
it started out the entire like beginning of it was like I'm part of the first generation that grew up like with access to porn, and then everybody was like, why can't they focus? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing was like, you want to know why I'm hard in algebra at 9 a.m.? 'Cause it's the witching hour. But then I just like went super into it
Yeah.
and fucking talked about Homo erectus, and I was like, you know why they're called Homo erectus? Yeah, it was dumb.
Porn, baby.
And then after doing it for like 4 times, somebody who I didn't respect told me it was great, and I was like, I'm gonna drop that.
He said, well, this is the death of this
I actually
bit.
have been thinking about dropping it. So.
Yeah, it's a good thing you said something.
That's like a big fear of mine, is that like I can write stuff that works, but I just don't care about it or like it.
Yeah, so
And then
it's
it's
not
like,
enough to
so
keep it in.
Why am I doing this?
I mean, that's probably a good thing to do. If you hate a joke but it works, that's probably worse.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a couple jokes that are like my go-tos that work every time, but then I feel cheap 'cause I want to constantly be like writing new stuff and improving upon it.
Yeah.
And if I don't, like if I'm ever in trouble in a set, I'm bombing, like I know I can pull that out. And then at the end of the set, I'm like, you fucking pussy. You should have just stayed in and
Stick
figured
to your
it
guns.
out. Yeah, figured it out.
I stick to my guns every time, and it never works.
So don't stick to your guns. If I have one word of advice,
Yeah.
don't ever stick to your guns.
Because anytime I've tried to do like the whole, I'll get 'em back,
Yeah.
and then that bombs, and I'm like,
Never
well,
works,
I
you
don't know
said.
where to go from here,
Well,
folks.
I shouldn't have called myself daddy. That was my first mistake.
Dude, Max Swords told me.
That's
Oh, okay,
exactly
yeah,
what I
yeah.
was pulling from.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Oh
telling
my
me that
God,
it
yeah,
did
you
not
were
work.
there.
I
That
mean,
was-
sometimes, yeah, sometimes it kills, and other times you're like, you guys hate me. What's
haven't
going on?
really done that many shows, so I haven't really had the opportunity to like. Don't worry, I bomb quite a bit, but
Don't get that thought.
but I've never had the opportunity to like truly make an audience like uncomfortable that wasn't at an open mic.
No,
So I'm waiting for that
it's
to
a
happen,
blessed feeling.
'cause
yeah.
it will.
Yeah,
It will.
where you're like, oh, this isn't gonna go well.
It's like Nate Bargatze. Like if you don't know it's stand up, it's just a mean speech.
Yeah, I was a magician. He doesn't know that we're related, and I just come out and
Oh,
they're
they're
like,
expecting a hot woman.
"Yeah,
They
bring
just
the
see
hot
an
woman
average
back.
guy.
Who is this guy? What happened to the hot lady?"
Oh my god, dude, he has one of my favorite bits of all time, where it's if I went back in time tonight, I don't think I'd make a difference. I don't even think you
Man, I
guys would
don't know
even
how
hear
they get
about
in
it.
this
Yeah.
guy, yeah.
I'd see a guy on a phone and be like, we can put those in our pockets now. And he's like, well, how do they do it?
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. I
yeah.
mean, they satellites.
I
and
would
it's
just
like,
be a waiter in the 20s.
Yeah.
I'd be doing worse than I am doing
you
right
do-
now.
They'd want to know something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Who's the next president? Oh boy.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna like Lincoln.
Abraham
He's-
Lincoln, yeah, you're gonna
he's a
like
good
him.
guy. I like the one where he's like, I used to work at a water park, and I was talking to this couple, and their names were John and Jane Doe. And I'm 35, and I was driving this morning, and I was like, I bet they were lying. It's just the way it's delivered, it's just perfect.
He's clearly not a moron, but like
Yeah, you can just.
he
pull
makes it so relatable.
Yeah, I mean I think both of those jokes are from the same, like the 30-minute special he did,
Mhm.
right? Yeah, that's just absolute fire. Just
He
like
just
good jokes. But I think, like we were talking about earlier, that was probably like 15 years. I've seen him do those jokes from earlier stuff where it was missing.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't as full as then, 'cause that was like the last 10 years of jokes. But Tennessee Kid is incredible. But I didn't like Hello World that much.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just what happens. Like the
That's
same
what you're
thing.
talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, just like, and then you need to, like you're saying, like you need to pump out. You get so popular, like of course I'm gonna put out a special every 2 years, but it just doesn't have the time.
Tennessee Kid was fucking so good.
Yeah.
The thing about like the dog pills. Do you remember?
Is that where
Like the
dog died,
medicine.
right?
It was like expired. He went to like give the dog its medicine and it was expired, and then she was like, "No, those are new pills in an old bottle." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm the stupidest person in the world." It's like as if I would like come in and see you drinking milk, and be like, "This says it's expired." Actually, it's new milk in an old carton. And then she's like, "Well, actually, the dog medicine doesn't expire." And he's like, "Well, I've known you for 15 years. You don't know anybody that's working at the dog factory.
Yeah, you don't know.
Since when do you know that?"
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're doing great things here at the dog medicine factory. We've made medicine that does not expire.
Never goes bad. I like the very beginning when he's like, "Yeah, I was golfing and I had my shirt off and I was in my truck." He goes, "Amelia,
Like an
excuse
80-year-old.
me, are you looking for?" He walked up to a car that he did not recognize, and
I don't know if that's more insulting to her or to me.
yeah, to me,
And then, the one about the dog, and you're like, she's gonna die.
yeah, she's got.
She's gonna
And then
die. I'm gonna
she-
die. Your mom's gonna die.
So I
we're
told
all
her
gonna
every
die.
day that she was gonna die, and then she lived 6 more months. But I wanted to keep it up. So every single day, I said she's still gonna die.
And then we told her, and it was as if she had heard it for the first time.
I know, yeah.
And then my wife was like, "You didn't tell her I did it, right?" And I was like,
It's
"Why
like,
would
why?
I? Would you have told her that I did it?
Yeah,
What the?"
yeah.
And then the airport one was like, "I don't know if you could make it if you
Yeah.
if the plane was
was
in
in
the
your garage.
driveway."
We're leaving at 11:30, but the flight is until
'Cause that's what I wanted to know.
So what information did you think I wanted? Maybe I should just guess. Tell me what time you go to sleep, and I'll just guess which flight is yours. Yeah, he's such a way, man. Fuck.
I am so jealous of him. That's what I was talking about today, like talking slow and like making the audience come to you. I've heard stories of like Mark Norman is like telling stories of like the crowds just would not listen to anybody, and Nate just gets up there and starts doing his thing, and everybody just quiets.
Yeah.
He doesn't change
'Cause
anything
you just
about
wanna
it.
hear his words, and he's very polite and comfortable.
Yeah. And my mom is obsessed with the fact that he can be so funny and be clean. She's always like, "Well, he's clean." That's very impressive.
you
And I'm like,
saying?
"Clean's not fun."
You see how your dirty jokes. I mean, it is impressive. That's crazy.
It's fucking insane.
Yeah, I can't remember like anyone else said. I had the Brian Regan. I think it's called "Man on the Moon" CD.
Yeah.
I think that was like the first kind of stand up I listened to. That and then Dane Cook. When
What
I was
a
like
difference.
in sixth
Jesus
grade.
Christ.
I listened to Dane Cook recently and I was like, still funny, but it is geared towards 12-year-olds. Just yelling and saying fuck a lot. I was like, this is what being an adult is all about.
Yes. The first stand up special I ever watched was Daniel Tosh Completely Serious,
Mm.
and that changed my life.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It was because I think he opened with a fucking Katrina joke, and he was like, if anybody needed a bath, it was those fucking people.
Immediately.
And I experienced a wave of hatred. It was as if the levees had broke again. And he was like, wouldn't it be funny if they made sequels for... I think that part is from People Pleaser. What he does that's cool, if you listen to his first album, which I think is called Stuff I Made Up or something like that.
Something where he's like,
Yeah,
right.
exactly. He has like bits in there that he polishes and then does later in his other specials.
oh, really?
Like he has a bit in that one about like how funny would it be if like the Olympics they had like betting and you could only go in with what your country is worth. But he didn't really go into it.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
later in like
He really fleshed it out.
maybe it was People Pleaser or the one, or maybe it was Completely Serious. He was like, he said the exact same premise. Then he was like, "Oh, Puerto Rico's all in with 4 coconuts." Mm. I was like, dude. So he held on to that.
I can respect that as long as you improve it.
Oh
you
my
know?
God,
I
I
don't
l-
like Seinfeld. you're
That's
doing
like the
same
ultimate
jokes.
sign of a writer to me.
Yeah.
Is that same with like Gary Goldman? Although Gary Goldman gets too writery sometimes.
Yeah, I've only
Where it's
I've
like you're
tried
just
to
being flary right now. I
take
don't know
it-
the
take
word.
it down, bookworm. Jesus Christ.
I know.
I just the first Gary Goldman clip I ever saw was the state abbreviations, and I was like, this guy's
I mean, that's pretty
maybe
fucking
the biggest
good.
genius. Yeah, but then like watching someone's magnum opus as your first clip.
Well, his magnum opus is the Trader Joe's bit,
Of course.
25-minute bit.
How could I?
I've been struck. I've literally quoted that bit today on the pod. This is not fair.
This is not fair.
Yeah. Where the head doesn't match the body. The head's a Komodo dragon.
Yeah. Yeah, it can feel like some people get too ridery sometimes.
Yeah, but not me. I'm a performance guy.
Yeah, never me.
All
I'll
right.
just switch. If I get too ridery, I'll stop being too performancy, and then I'll switch back if it gets too much.
Sometimes I watch you on stage and I'm like, this guy needs to stop being this loose.
Yeah, you want
It's
to be
freaking me out.
a little stricter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I need some order.
You seem very unbothered by everything in the world.
You think so?
Yeah. When's the last time you cried?
I cried today.
No way.
I watched Spider-Man 2.
That doesn't count.
You're only human, okay? That's it. Yeah. I cried like 4 times. I was like, oh fuck.
Last time you cried about something that was not a visual medium.
Oh yeah, it's been a very long time.
Seriously?
Oh yeah. I mean, my life
Fuck, dude.
my life is easy. I don't really get.
My life's easy too, but I'm such a fucking pussy about it.
Do you cry from like emotional?
All the time.
Just by yourself? There's no sort of stimulus going on?
I mean, I guess there'll be something that will trigger me.
Yeah.
It's weird, like, now I'll just see, like, a Campbell's soup commercial, and I'm like, fuck!
Well, then that's the same thing as like Spider-Man 2.
No,
right?
no.
Just something.
No, I mean, it'll
you're
be
seeing something that
literally, like,
hits you in some place.
2 nights ago, I was just driving in my car, listening to music, and then I just, out of nowhere, I just started thinking about life, and I just was, like, getting so fucking, I was like, what's going on?
It's coming.
I don't know.
Here it comes.
I think I have a lot of unresolved things from my past that I don't understand why it still bothers me, but it does.
Scars never truly heal.
But aren't chicks supposed to dig them?
Yeah, that's
They
true.
don't.
Louis has a good bit on Conan. It's one of it. He talks. It starts off. It's so great 'cause Louis will do like it start off something and then he'll go on this crazy and then bring it back. So that's why I don't let my daughters have
I
cell phones yet.
love when they do that.
That's literally what it was about. It was like, why they won't let cell phones? 'Cause like we all get this sadness inside, but you're supposed to let it hit you like a truck. And I'm trying to retell the interview, but I'll send you a link to it.
Shoot me a link.
It's good. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, it's good. It was just he's just so smart, and he knows like human nature in such an odd way that he brings stuff up all the time. Like I never thought about that way. Fuck.
Well, so this brings me to the whole journey of becoming a great stand-up comedian. I have realized, I think a big part of that is understanding who you are as a person. And so we talked about like thinking a lot. A lot of my thinking is just like almost like a self-therapy session where I'm just thinking like, why do I do this? Why do I react to things like this? I'll like think of specific things during the day and like, why did I do that? Why did I do that? And then I just keep searching and searching and searching. And then I would just want to understand everything about me and who I am so much that I inevitably get to a point where I just start being like, finding all the horrible things as well, you know?
You said too much.
Yeah, but then even if you find stuff that's good, it's like, why is it good? What caused it to be that way? And then it's never, I don't know. It's like learning about yourself is not this like happy, fun thing.
Yeah, it can't all be good. I guess you got to learn just how to parse it.
Because a lot of it is grappling with the reality of who you are
Mm.
and what you wish you were, and you're never what you wish you are.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
follows.
Yeah. And then it's just being like, well, I guess I am stuck with me. I think about that like I'm just, you know how inevitably if you live with somebody long enough, you'll grow to hate them?
Mm.
That's like the whole idea. We're just living with ourselves.
It is true.
I'm just like my own roommate forever, which is sort of like a separation of my ego.
Okay.
Of like I'm with Harry Meredith.
All the time.
I'm stuck.
He said I can't stand
He's
this guy.
so annoying, dude. Yeah. It's frustrating.
Yeah, I get that, but also I think you think of it just in terms of like who we are right now. But I think just time you just keep learning more and more about yourself, and then, you know, painful stuff over time, it just kind of not goes away completely, but it fades, and then you understand it better. So I think you just keep working on yourself, and it seems like you are doing that, and over time you just understand more and more.
Do you think you understand yourself?
Oh yeah.
No.
It's
You have no
It's
idea.
getting better every year.
You have no idea. You won't fully.
I feel like I figured a lot of things out when I turned 25.
Why? See, I'm still not there.
Yeah. How old are you?
24.
Okay. So next year you'll
Fuck.
know everything.
It's gonna come down.
Yeah. On you hard.
Why 25? What happened?
It was like around. I mean, I moved to Chicago when I was 24, and then like coming out of the pandemic, and then I just always that dumb fact that people always say that your brain stops growing at 25.
Mm.
I attribute it to that a little bit, but obviously I'm learning more and more. But I feel like I made a big leap at 25, of like knowing what I want, knowing what I like, not having to deal with the bullshit that I don't like. You know, being able to stand up for yourself, and that was just what I learned.
Did you not stand up for yourself?
No, I used to be such a pushover.
What was did you have like a landmark moment of I'm standing up for myself now?
Nothing really where I like get up in front of a school bully and
I mean, that's Spider-Man.
You're not- yeah.
The
Hey,
basketball
Hey, Dirk. What are you doing here, nerd?
Pick on somebody
You're
your
not
own
gonna- yeah,
side.
you're not gonna bully me anymore. Come on, rise up. We're
I'm gonna
not
fuck your
gonna
girlfriend.
take it. Yeah, and I cut his head off and drink his blood in front of the whole school. Yeah, nothing so, cinematic. But just little things where you're like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. Or just, there's people in my life that I grew up with. Some people I cut out because there's some guys that were like, oh, I grew up. I just made excuses when they do shitty stuff. Like, no, dude, we're boys. I grew up with them.
Yeah.
And eventually I was like, I can't. That's not an okay thing. That's not an excuse I can make for them anymore.
What'd they do?
Just being shitty to women and other friends and just being sketchy. And then you think back, you're like, oh no, but they used to be a good kid. Those memories, you're like, no, but they keep making just bad choices over and over again.
Yeah. And you're like, I don't really have an obligation.
Yeah, it's like I'm older, I get to choose my friends now. It's not just where my parents decided to make me grow up in.
That is interesting. Your parents sort of decided that.
Yeah, it was their choice, not mine.
If they had lived in Alaska,
Yeah, I'd be, kicking it with Eskimos.
friends with Inuits.
And my life would be completely different.
I think Eskimos is insensitive.
Oh, sorry. Snow Asians. That's what I call them.
All right. Do you want to end on snow Asians?
Yeah.
Actually, do you want to plug anything?
Instagram,
How long do you think we've been going?
3 hours.
Do you think we've hit 3?
Do you think so? Let me check.
This might be the record.
I think so.
Me and Drew went for 2:47. Holy shit.
12:30?
We just passed 3.
Really?
3:06.
We did it.
That's insane.
What time did we start? I thought.
We must have
Like
started around
9:30.
9:30.
Holy shit.
It's morning.
Yeah. Yeah. We look out the window. Like, oh, fuck, I'm late for work.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck.
Well, I'll ask you, first of all, how do you think this went?
I had a very good time. I had fun.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then second, plug some dates, dude. This is going to be dropping. Do you want this to drop next Monday or the Monday after that?
Next Monday.
Blake Dixon's going to have to.
He's going to have to wait.
Because I'm doing an episode, because the pod's called Post Set Clarity.
Mm.
Because the whole idea was I was going to talk to people right after sets,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I haven't done that a single time. Because it's very inconvenient.
Still a cool title. I would just keep the title, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I won't
And I'm
worry
going to
about
make the artwork for it's going to be like me. Well, it's going to be like a bed with like a mic stand facing that way on the pillow, and then me like facing the other way, and there's like a bunch of random
you
stuff.
like
Yeah,
put
like
on the
it's
side
literally
like
that, like with like regret in my eyes. Like a
That's
one night
great.
stand,
Yeah, I
one
love
night
that.
mic stand.
That's really good.
But so tomorrow, because I'm gonna be able to do like 3 mics, and then me and Blake, after Logan, we normally stand outside his car and smoke and talk.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was like, I'm just gonna have my camera there. We're gonna set up on the street,
Yeah,
like
just
outside of
chill.
Logan Theater, and just be like, how did your sets go? And just go through every single one. Just
That's
be
cool. I like
yeah.
that idea.
'Cause we did that 2 weeks ago, and I was like, this is my pot. This is what I should be
This is
recording.
true. Did
Yeah.
you feel like it was good content, or were people just kind of blowing smoke out their ass?
What do you mean?
Just like after their set, did they actually have?
It depends on the person. I mean, I only really break down sets after they've happened with him and like Drew and Matt
Yeah,
and Sam,
yeah.
because they're pretty good at looking at it objectively
That's true.
and being like, Sam's really good at it. After Sam has a set, I mean, he'll
analysis.
crush, and then he'll be like, yeah, man, but like leading into that second punchline, I like sort of eased off the gas a little bit, and I'll be like, I don't
Say,
even know what you're talking
"Whoa."
about. Yeah.
You have 2 punchlines?
And then I
Holy
just want to be like,
shit.
what do you think about my comedy? Like,
Yeah,
if you're
yeah.
doing this to
What
yours.
does this look like from your
Yeah,
eyes?
exactly.
Yeah. That's a good idea. I mean, for any podcast, you got to find your hook.
I mean,
It's so hard.
does there have to be a hook? I think it just has to be good.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, okay. I have a hook.
Yeah. That's a great cover art, though. I do like that.
Also, before you plug, we just went over 3 hours.
Yeah.
So Drew's was 247,
Oh.
and when I posted that, I was like, no one's gonna listen to 247. That podcast has over 1,000 hours of listening time.
Whoa. How many users is that equal to? Oh, well, I got to do that.
It has no, but it's not exactly. It doesn't
500?
compute exactly because not everybody's watching the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think it has like 3.6 thousand views.
Whoa.
Have you been, dude? My pod's kind of
It's popping off.
the sock guys.
The socks are
Fucking-
working.
yeah,
They're getting out there and
little
spreading the
symbi-
word.
yeah, they are.
They're
I
in
mean,
the
there's literally a
streets.
guy that DM'd me, and he's like, "I know people. I could like as soon as you drop." He literally was like, "As
I
soon
will
as you
tell
drop
them."
this Patreon, I know an entire Twitter sphere
Wow.
that I can tell." But so most of them average, they're like around like 50 to 100 hours of watch time, which is still like that's insane that enough people are actually
Yeah.
like tuning in. But Drew's out of all of them, not even close,
Yeah.
over 1,000.
What do you think?
So I think it's the long form.
That's
So
what it
this
is.
one could.
What were the other ones? Like under an hour, hour and a half?
Like the average.
Yeah. 'cause
Oh,
you
the
said
average
that.
is normally like it says like it's like a hour 30, and it's like the average is like 5 minutes.
Oh, really?
Because most people click and then they're like, "Why am I watching a fucking
That's
podcast?"
fair. Yeah.
But yeah, like a surprising amount of people actually make it through.
I mean, that's legit. It's all got to start somewhere.
We're here. I just hit 500 subscribers.
Ooh, there you go.
Over 181 in the past 28 days.
Holy shit, that is crazy.
Dude, it's actually
It's
good.
blowing
You're
your
part
mind.
of the revolution.
Yeah. Yeah. The sock boys take over.
Yeah.
Finally.
I don't even think we showed this podcast might not do well.
Yeah, I think about it.
The socks were out of the
Yeah,
frame.
the angle was all bad.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Yeah.
So if you want to plug, this will be dropping. This will be dropping Monday the 12th,
Okay.
August 12th.
I mean, I just have like random stuff around Chicago, but I'll be at the Comedy Mothership, 8:25 for the roast.
Holy shit!
Should be fun.
That's how good of an interviewer I am. I didn't even
Yeah,
touch on
you
that.
really.
I was like, tell me about your sexual awakening.
No,
you
it was
brought
your
that up.
sexual awakening. Yeah, fun
Alright.
stuff.
Alright.
Good job.
Back to the real world.